audio problems and all, but we think we've got it worked out. We're at least on the air now at the game. About 12 and a half minutes before game time. I'm Roger Wheeler alongside Perry Parker. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How you like your rainy nights? This is getting to be a habit.
You know, it looks a lot like last week, doesn't it?
It does, but at least
Said the L word.
we're not going to say that anymore tonight. So we're just going to hope that everything goes well. Things have making their way. We're going to try to have a ball game here in about 12 minutes. We've had some technical difficulties, but we're going to be able to talk, and hopefully folks can hear us.
Yeah, we're working. We are being heard. I made sure of that. Had somebody send me a text that we are on. Probably, of course, the weather, dealing with that, the internet connections, and some radio issues, I'm sure, as well. So we'll blame it on everybody else but ourselves.
Oh, we're
Perry.
ready to go.
We've been ready since 5:30.
Yeah, we've been here. We all the only biggest decision we had was whether we're going to take the windows out or not.
Yeah. And what a beautiful night it really is when you
It has. It's
when
cooled off.
you go down to what it was
It's
just an
stopped
hour
raining.
ago.
Oh yeah, it's improved 100%.
And we have Big 8 football
It
for
is.
you tonight with the Aurora Hound Dogs hosting the Monett Cubs. Aurora 1-3 on the season. Monett entering this game 3-1 and 1-1 in the Big 8. Aurora 1-1 in the Big 8.
It is. Kind of a contrast here. We've had all kinds of weather problems here the last 2 weeks. We faced a formidable foes the first 3 weeks. Came back and beat East Newton last week here at home in a weather delayed game. We didn't get started until about 8:30. Uh, Thought we might have that same situation tonight, but last week Monett faced Lamar on their home turf over there in Monett. Uh, Put up, best I could tell, about 390 yards of offense, but it wasn't quite enough to get past the Lamar Tigers. So they picked up their first loss. So we're going to have two teams looking at kind of two different, shall we say, sets of glasses at this ball game that we're going to have here tonight.
You know, you've got a very good Monett team. There's no denying that whatsoever.
true.
Ranked number 5 in Class 4 entering this one against an Aurora team that has struggled so far but has played a tough schedule to this point for sure. With the first 3, we've talked about that a lot with Mountain Grove, Mountain View, Liberty, and Lamar. You know, we talked about that a lot. So you move on from that. The victory over East Newton kind of rights the ship a little bit, but now you get a tough Monett team coming in, and all I've heard all week long is the word revenge.
We've even heard a lot of that tonight, but Aurora took 2 from Monett last year. We were the ones that kind of bounced them out of the playoffs. Um, we've talked about it. Is it really a revenge game when you don't have the same players, on the field that there are? So, nothing else. It's a good rivalry game just because it's Aurora Monett.
Right.
So there will be lots of, can't think of the word I want to say, lots of impetus on both sides. Just the fact that it's Aurora Monett.
I would imagine that if the tables were reversed, we would probably be sitting here talking about
Oh, I'm sure.
a revenge game as well. Yet, to me, it's not that. What I see in Monett, we'll talk a little bit about them here, is very similar to Aurora last season.
Yeah, I can see that.
Ian Meyer, their quarterback, reminds me a lot of Peyton Evans. Turned that around. Michael Branch, their star running back. We had a very successful running game, especially with Kalen Frigel till he got hurt last year. Similar there. And then a couple of very good receivers in Brian Parra Navarro. Looks a lot like a Billy Meredith, Skylar Cahill.
A lot of similarities between the two teams. I think as we go through the night tonight, there's probably going to be a little more attention on the ground attack from Monett than what we're going to see from Aurora. Aurora's kind of gone to this wide open spread offense. We're going to have, it's good that the rain has stopped because that will help our passing attack. We put 2, 3, sometimes even 4 or 5 receivers out there in the pattern. So with this rain stopping, that will help Aurora's offense tremendously.
Those 3 names we talked about. Ian Meyer has 6 touchdown throws so far this year, 3 rushing touchdowns. Michael Branch averages over 100 yards a game and is capable of a 300-yard game very easily.
I suspect that we will see number 30, Mr. Branch, carry the ball a lot tonight, especially on a on kind of a wet, sloppy field like this.
And 3 receiving touchdowns for him as well. And yet, everyone from Monett tells me the thing to watch for with Michael Branch is his defensive position at outside linebacker this year.
I'm really curious to see him play defense tonight. That's a part of his game that a lot of people overlook. They see him as this big, bruising, power running back, but when he lines up on the defensive side of the ball, he's imposing as well.
And then Brian Parra Navarro last week against Lamar, and this is impressive just against Lamar, had 8 receptions for 234 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, there's some big chunks in that to get that many yards on that few of receptions. So he's definitely somebody the Roar defensive backs are going to have to keep an eye on.
Parra Navarro is a transfer from Pierce City.
I think so.
I believe I was going to say Purdy, but I don't think they play football.
No, it's Pierce City.
So Pierce City.
He was a Pierce City Eagle.
Transfer and a very good receiver for them as well. And so they're going to be a handful. For Aurora, the running game got going a little bit last week with Wyatt Neff. Also had 3 touchdown passes to Clayton Dunning. We'd hoped to have
Preston Naylor.
Thank
back.
you. I was drawing a blank completely there back, but not going to happen tonight.
No, I saw him down on the sideline earlier with a boot on his ankle. So, here we are in the 5th game of the season, and we've been looking forward to seeing Dunning and Naylor are both on the outside. But we really only had that happen the first half of the first game. They both had some injury problems, but hopefully they can get healthy, and as we get move on through the season, we can get those guys on the outside where Peyton Evans can rear back and throw the ball to him.
And Monett opened the season with a win against California 34-6, and then defeated Logan Rogersville 49-0. Then went to Mount Vernon and won 42-28, and then lost to Lamar last week 49-34. So when you look at that, does anything there impress you or not impress?
I was surprised on how many yards they were able to put up on Lamar. That's the one thing that jumped out at me. Like 390, nearly 400 yards of offense. But when the one receiver has over 200, that shows you can somebody can throw on Lamar, which will be fun to see. If and when they see Mountain View Liberty, because they like to chuck the ball around the yard. So that'll be something to look for down the road.
I was interested in the fact that Mount Vernon was able to put 28 points up on them.
Again, we're looking at the passing game. Mount Vernon throws the ball a lot. Aurora, Big 8 football, through the years has been traditional power running attack. And we're seeing the offenses all through the Big 8 open it up and start throwing the ball. Maybe the defenses haven't kind of caught up with this spread offense. That could be to the Hounds' benefit tonight.
Do you have a key or two to victory for what the Hound Dogs are going to need to do to knock off this Monett team?
Well, the first thing that came to my mind was weather. Monett is now a turf team. They've got the new turf over there. That makes you about a step faster. You get used to your timing and everything at that speed. When you go to make your cut and you put that plant foot, that turf is going to hold. As soft as this ground is out here tonight, that may not happen. If that slows them down a step, just a step, that messes up their timing, and that could be a difference for their Roar defense. That's one thing I'm looking forward to. Another thing, I'm sure with Lamar coming to town, they had a lot of emphasis, a lot of preparation, a lot of energy expended getting ready for the Lamar Tigers. Whether or not they can crank it up 2 weeks in a row against the Hounds, be curious to see that as well.
Keys to Victory brought to you by Aurora Auto Plaza. Pre-owned vehicles available at Aurora Auto Plaza. Give them a call at 417-308-3518 or online at auroraautoplaza.com. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will look at the starting lineups for Aurora, and it'll be close to kickoff time. Got about 3.5 minutes left. Still waiting on Aurora to take the field. We'll be right back on KSWN.
Hi, this is Sherry Hall, and I invite you to come down and enjoy some food at your pizza.
School's about to start. Back to school sales on markers, crowns, kid clothes, but what you want is to save money on a car. This month, save big during our back to school event only at Youngblood Nissan. Right now, lease the 2016 Rogue for $189 a month, the 2016 Pathfinder for $279 a month, or the 2016 Sentra for only $149 a month. To see more, visit our website, check us out on Facebook, or swing by and our friendly sales staff will be happy to show you around. Youngblood Nissan. We make it easy for you.
JimmyMitchell.com. Tonight we've got the Hounds starting defense. Number 1, Keaton Willard. Number 4, Casey Weatherman. Number 7, Peyton Evans. Number 8, Clayton Dunning. Number 10, Caleb Baker. Number 15, Wyatt Neff. Number 30, Blake Williams. 47, Connor Savage. 51, Malik Baker. 53, Grayson Heath. And number 68, Carlos Cordova. They'll be on the field trying to stop this Monett offense.
Right now they're meeting on the field. Looks like Monett has won the toss and deferred to the second half to start this one. I'm getting some comments about the web feed, and I know the guys are working on that and getting that set up and making sure that's working. Hopefully that'll be up soon at aurorawebtv.com as well. So we'll do the best we can. If not, we got it here on KSWM AM 940 for you. The weather has played a little havoc with some of the equipment and with the internet lines and all with the storm. So we'll do the best we can here as we get ready for high school football, as both teams are now getting ready, and Monett will kick off to the Hound Dogs to start this one. Perry, it's week 5.
Week 5. This pushes us over the halfway mark. But you know, we're tickled to be here tonight. You know, we probably figure there's a few extra folks listening. And we're glad that you've taken the opportunity to join us here. We're going to do our best to bring you all the color and the pageantry, shall we say, of Hound Dog football. We get the bugs worked out of the system. You can join us on the web. But we're ready for Friday night football here in downtown Aurora. Well, not really downtown, in Aurora.
I still call it downtown Aurora. I think it's still part of downtown here. And then back deep for the Hound Dogs is Logan Loffer. He will line up deep for the kickoff here for the Hound Dogs. On the kicker putting the ball on the 40, and we are ready for some football. Perry, the field, amazingly, week 5, and with the rain we've had the last couple of weeks, looks really nice.
I'm curious to see how it looks in the middle of the third quarter. You know, this field drains exceptionally well. And, you know, it's been probably 30, 45 minutes, you know, since the rain stopped. You know, the clouds have broken up. You can almost see some clear sky up there. It just turned out to be a real beautiful night. It's cooled off nicely. Crowd's a little thin, but, you know, working forward to bringing the ball game to you here on KSWM 940.
Probably just a later arriving crowd here as they're dealing with getting in as well. We had the homecoming festivities. It is homecoming. Kickoff deep is to Logan Loffer in the end zone, and if you catch it in the end zone in high school football, you're down, 1st and 10.
We're going to bring it out, and we're going to set up offense right about the 20-yard line. So the kickoff went into the end zone. Logan Loffer caught it, but we're going to have to set up right here. We've got the officials got the ball set down. Hounds coming out of the first play of the game.
1st and 10 for the Hound Dogs from the 20-yard line. Preston Daler. I really messed up tonight, Perry.
How about Peyton Evans?
Peyton Evans in the backfield alongside Wyatt Neff. Keaton Willard in motion. Peyton Evans takes the wet snap. That's going to happen a bunch this evening, I'm sure, as Peyton attempted to take the snap. See if Aurora recovered it. No, they did not. Monett takes the fumble on the first offensive possession. We'll have 1st and 10 from about the 11, almost the 12-yard line. So they'll start in the red zone against the Hound Dogs.
Peyton may have taken his eye off of it. It was a pretty decent snap, but he kind of fumbled it. Well, Aurora, a couple of players tried to recover it. Well, that time Monett jumped on the ball. 1st down right at the 11, so not the way the Hounds wanted to start.
Ian Meyer lines up under center. He's got Michael Branch in the backfield. First snap gives to Michael Branch. He goes to the left, gets past the initial line of scrimmage, and he's rumbling towards the end zone, and he is very close, looks like, he is knocked out of bounds just before the goal line
But
there.
there is a flag on the play come from the far side of the field, so curious to see what that call
Looked
is.
like Michael Branch was moving a little soon. That's not even the call. It's a hold against the Cubs, so that'll knock them back 10 yards further and out of the red zone.
Aurora defender came up and tried to stop that run on the outside. Well, I'm assuming that's where the hold was on the fullback. Well, Branch just cut inside of it and rumbled all the way in close to the goal line. But that play's coming back. They're going to put the ball right about the original line of scrimmage. So it's still first down.
So it's the spot of the foul being near the goal line. First and 10 from the 11 once again.
Lots of motion and shifting by the Cubs here.
Meyer under center. Branch is the lone running back. Takes the snap to the right. Gets past the line of scrimmage, and he is into the end zone. Touchdown for Michael Branch and the Cubs. That's just too easy when you give him the ball on the 11-yard line to start.
Yeah, and that was just simple power football right off tackle. Nothing fancy. Straight blocking by the offensive line. Just collapsed that right side of the Hounds defense, and he went in the end zone untouched.
They will line up for the extra point. Cameron Cody, the kicker for the Cubs. And the extra point is up. And it is good. Oh, no good. Must have gone over the right side of the bar. No good. So 6-0 our score in favor of the Cubs here early, as the Hounds going to have to deal with the wet conditions. I guess both teams are playing with them.
They are. One thing you have to do, most people when they run on this wet turf, they cut on the balls of their feet. When you get on a situation like this, if you can adjust and cut on your heels, you'll get a lot more grip and be able to run. So I'm curious to see how, when Aurora puts these pass patterns on, if our receivers can make their cuts and Peyton Evans will be able to get them the ball. I think that's going to be a key in getting this offense rolling.
So the Cubs line up again at the 40-yard line. We'll kick off once again here and hopefully have a little bit more success. That's the difference in having your quarterback maybe under center parry and having a shotgun quarterback as well, dealing with some of the wet conditions.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if it was a lack of concentration or a wet football, but we're going to have to pay particular attention, especially in that shotgun formation, to make sure we get a good exchange from the center to the quarterback.
And here we go again. Cameron Cody kicks off, and that's going to go to Logan Lawford, the 3. He'll take it to the 10, the 15, the 20. Nice. Escapes the first tackle. Nice move there up to the 24-yard line. The Hounds will have it 1st and 10.
Right at the 20-yard line, 2 defenders were collapsing on him, and he split them and picked up another additional 5 yards. So a nice return by Lawford.
That was a nice move, wasn't it?
It was very nice.
That was impressive. That reminded me of Barry Sanders.
Yeah, it was kind of that little juking of the hips.
Yeah.
And, it was just kind of Olay. Those 2 guys went for him, and there was nothing there, just but air. So again, he's just a pup.
He's in, like I say, he stays in the game too at receiver. So first play here, handoff to Neff. Neff up the middle. Not a lot of room as he's crawling as much as he can. He gets to the 26 for a pickup of about 1.
Yeah, you have to make him respect that carrying, on the ground game. And Neff is a bruising runner, kind of like Branch. But, in order for that passing game, they're going to try to at least give some kind of a semblance of a running game to see if they can get those linebackers and defensive backs to kind of try to sneak up to the line of scrimmage and then throw over them.
Evans looking for a receiver to the left. That is Caleb Baker. Incomplete off of his fingers. He gets pushed in the back about the same time the football gets there.
Yeah, he kind of, I don't know if he heard steps or something, but he needed concentration. That was a catchable pass. So that's, we got to take advantage every chance we can. Now, something else I want to throw out there, Clayton Dunning was out here on this same sideline, wide open. If they could have got the ball over, Clayton Dunning would have been gone.
Saw that. I thought that's where he was going to go with it here. 3rd and 9 for the Hound Dogs. Evans looks to the right. He's got Baker over there. It's a pass we see quite often. He catches it at the 30 and will get up to about the 33, maybe the 34, about 1.5 yards short of the first down.
Well, that's great for Caleb Baker. You know, he missed that one previously to that, and then they have enough confidence in him to go right back to him. He makes the catch and gains that positive yardage, so that's good to see Mr. Baker come back and make that reception.
So 4th and 2, the Hound Dogs line up in punt formation. That's Devin Hillman takes the kick, and that is actually Peyton Evans that kicks that one away. Nice kick. Takes the Aurora bounce down inside the 25-yard line. That's where the Cubs will have their second possession, 1st and 10, with 10 minutes left. 6-0 in favor of Monett.
It was a nice roll on the punt, so they're going to take over. Well, they haven't set the ball. About the 25-yard line from Monett. Monett offense comes back on the field. We'll see if the Hounds defense is a little better prepared for this possession here. Hounds in their base 3 off defensive line with 5 linebackers. We're going to see, if we can make an adjustment and get to Mr. Branch.
Ian Meyer at shotgun now, hands off to Branch again. He meets 2 defenders right at the line of scrimmage. That is Grayson Heath that knocks him down, and there are flags again on the play.
Casey Weatherman was in on the tackle as well down low. The flag, it looks like it's going to be a procedure penalty against Monett. Somebody must have moved a little early. So it is a legal formation against Monett. They're talking to the Aurora captains right now. Monett's broken the huddle, coming to the line of scrimmage, but the officials have pushed them back. So we're going to make a call here. They're going to accept the penalty, so that'll push it back to the 20-yard line, make it 1st down and 15 for the Monett Cubs, right on the 20-yard line.
Four wide receivers for the Cubs, 2 on each side. Michael Branch in the backfield. You can't read the fullback's number. They've got a fullback that comes across once in a while, too. Meyer takes it, looks to his left for a pass down the sidelines. That is almost intercepted.
The late flag thrown. Quarterback was hit by Kyle Todd right as he let go of the ball. So I'll be curious to see if this is offensive or defensive pass interference. It may be on the offense. Here's the call.
Call for us.
Pass interference on the
I
offense.
figured Brian Navarro looked like he became the defender on that one and kind of knocked over the defender as the ball was in the air.
Right, the pressure by Todd caused the ball to kind of float a little bit, and it was underthrown. Is it Moses Martinez? Is it 24?
Yes.
He was just
not Moses. Isaac.
Isaac.
Moses
sorry.
graduated on us.
Moses graduated last year. Isaac, I apologize. He was just waiting for the ball to come down, and the defender came over the top, so he prevented the interception, but it's going to cost them 15, so they're all the way back to the 10-yard line.
1st and 25 from the 10-yard line, and we got whistles again.
Another flag.
So right now the Cubs moving backwards. Perry, are you impressed with the size of that offensive line?
Yeah, I am just fixing to start to mention that. Boy, these guys haven't missed too many things of biscuits and gravy. There's some big old boys out there for Monett. Another 5-yard penalty against Monett. Another procedure penalty.
Offsides against, I think is the call against the Cubs. 5 more yards. Yep. So that's going to push them back to the 5-yard line. 1st and 30 from the 5. The first down markers are at the 35-yard line, and we're sitting at the 5, ready for Ian Meyer to take the snap. He does. Hands it to Branch. Branch is up to about the 9, maybe the 10-yard line on 1st down.
Tough yards right there. He picked up about 4. The Hound defense was waiting for him. So limit him to 4 yards. You'll take that as a victory every time.
How many carries is Michael Branch going to have this evening, Perry?
Going to be a bunch.
Ian Meyer in the backfield by himself now.
Look
He's got
at the splits
4
on the offensive line.
Yeah, 4 receivers on both sides. Flags flying again. Yeah, explain that, Perry. Can you explain that kind of to our people that are listening?
If If you go back and remember, the Missouri Tigers a couple years ago when they had Jeremy Macklin and Doriel Beckham, you saw great big splits between the offensive linemen. That's opening up. Usually you're going to see that in a passing attack when you've got this much yards to get a first down. I think that's what we're going to see. But Aurora jumped off sides quite obviously. So there's another 5 yards. We're going to go the other way. This is getting sloppy, and I don't mean the ground. This is a sloppy first quarter right
False start on the Cubs. That'll push it back to 5 yards again. This is week 5, Perry. This should not be happening. And with Monett, you're talking about one of the top teams in the state. What's causing these issues?
I have no idea. This, we've seen that's got to be 5 or 6 penalties already, and I can't see the board. There can't be much time off this first quarter. Second and 26 here they're dropping back to pass.
Back to passes.
Pass
Meyer,
completed.
the pass is complete to the fullback. That is Alex Turner. You call him a tight end, but he's the size of a fullback, wouldn't you say?
Oh, he's a moose.
Completion is up to the 28-yard line, so that's a gain. I'm trying to remember where they started that one, Perry, on the 11.
Yep, about 21.
So third down still, even after the completion, third down and about 6 for the Cubs. Michael Branch is in the backfield behind Ian Meyer. Ian Meyer under center, takes the snap. He's going to pass. He's looking to pass. He's under pressure. He's going down with the sack. Is Casey Weatherman. Casey Weatherman gets the sack on Ian Meyer, pushes him back near the 10-yard line. They're going to say the 11. And that'll bring up a 4th and long, and Monett will bring in the punt team. So good job by the defense.
Great to see Casey Weatherman as that outside linebacker. That's 2 big plays he's made from the outside. He got back in there and put pressure and finally got him down. So great defensive stand, helped by a lot of penalties for the Hounds.
Yeah.
They should get great field position here.
A lot of penalties is an understatement. Here's the punt. Kick is up, short kick. Ball's going to hit about the 38-yard line. Take a Monett bounce to midfield, and Aurora will start 1st and 10 with good field position from their own 49-yard line.
Well, guess what? We got another flag on the field.
I hear
right
lots
about
of whistles.
16-yard line. I wish we'd have kept track.
Yeah, we should have started that. It's on Monett. Would you believe that?
Against Monett.
How many penalties is Monett going to get in the first quarter?
That's got to be 6 or 7.
We need to call Jason West at Mission and see what the record is, because this is ridiculous.
I would. Can you imagine? It's 7:15. How much time's left on the clock?
7:37 left in the first quarter.
And I bet the Monett coaching staff has already got their halftime speech halfway written.
Derek Uhl has probably already retreated to the locker room, and he's waiting on the team to get there.
He's already taking paint off the walls.
Yeah, very unusual. Aurora will decline that penalty and take the 1st and 10 from the 49-yard line. So,
Hounds start good field position.
Devin Hilton is out of this game with a broken toe, by the way, Perry.
Didn't know that.
Evans, quarterback keeper at the right side. He's at midfield, 45, down to about the 42. Pushing the pile is quarterback Peyton Evans.
Depending on the spot, it's just going to be short of a first down. So he looked like he's picked up about 9 yards on that carry.
2nd and 1 for the Hound Dogs.
That's something that Peyton Evans brings to the field that a lot of people forget about. It's his running ability. Once he, pulls the ball back and takes off, he can pick up a lot of yards back there.
Evans in the backfield. He's got Wyatt Neff to his right. Hands off to Neff. Neff straight up the middle, gets met at the line of scrimmage and going to be knocked down there. No gain on 2nd down. So they, like everyone else so far this season, are piling up that line of scrimmage, Perry.
Yeah, they're flooding that box, as they call it. They've got 7 or 8 guys within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage. But, you go back and look at the tape last week, Wyatt had a great game running the ball. They maybe have a spy on him, seeing when he's in there, we're gonna have a linebacker following him around. So the Hounds going to have to make sure they keep their blocking assignments. Guess what?
I don't even think we have to tell our audience what's going on.
There were 3 flags that time, folks. 3. So it's just going to have to be who who moved first.
I'll let you look at that. I want to find out some information on this, Perry. This is
Dead
something
ball.
else.
Offsides, Monett. That'll be a 5-yard penalty. That'll be enough for a first down, so the chains will move. Hounds will have first down on about the 37-yard line.
Take them any way you can get them when you're playing a team like Monett, that's
Absolutely.
for sure.
You know, we can keep our offense out there and keep the ball away from Mr. Branch and company. You know, that's just, gravy on our biscuit, shall we say. That's just great for us.
Not much on biscuits and gravy, but I understand the analogy.
Hey,
First-
everybody likes biscuits.
First and 10, Evans looking to pass. He got
Wide
Caleb
open.
Baker wide open across the middle at the 30. He's inside the 20, down to about the 15. He'll be knocked out of bounds near the 15-yard line. We'll see where they mark that as Caleb Baker was wide open.
Wide open right across the middle. Made a great catch, made a great cut to the outside. Picked up probably 10 yards after the catch, that YAC as they call it. So that was a great pickup. The ball is just shy of the 15-yard line.
First and 10 for the Hound Dogs. Evans drops back, quick pass out to Keaton Willard. Willard breaks the threes at the 10, at the 5.
Touchdown.
Touchdown! Keaton Willard for the Hound Dogs. We're knotted at 6-6 for the moment.
That's, there's
15 yards there.
15 yards, thank you. There's one thing that you can't defend, and that's speed. And that's something that Keaton Willard turned on the burners right there and just absolutely outraced Monett to the corner of the end zone. So great pass, and a great catch by Willard, and just show that quickness and that speed all the way to the corner.
Extra point, Jeremy Showbrock puts it up, and it is good, and the Hound Dogs are on top, 7-6.
So here we are. The Hounds showed great ability to come back and respond from that early turnover. Monett pushes the ball in, quickly, keeps the scores. So, Hounds get the ball, respond here, just showing great resolve. I don't know if Monett was thinking that something, they were going to run off and hide, but Hounds come back and score. Here we are, 7-6.
Remind you that tonight's game brought to you in part by Sports World, 709 Main on the Square in Cassville for in-stock area team logo clothing and Letterman's jackets, plus screen printing and embroidery on shirts, caps, jackets, sports uniforms, and more. Give Sports World a call, 847-5366. The extra point was brought to you by Crafton Cantrell Funeral Home for caring and personal assistance during your family's time of loss. Give Steve a call at Crafton Cantrell Funeral Home at 678-2144.
It's great to see that offense moving like that. It gives them great confidence. We've heard about this Purple Haze defense for years. That's what they call the Monett defensive unit. But, we moved the ball right down the field and scored and take a 1-point lead here. So we may have us a ball game.
Kickoff by Showbrock to about the 18. He hands it off to another Cub who brings it past the 30 to the 35. Little misdirection there on the field.
Little chippiness going on down there too.
Yeah, Tyler Alcock decided to give a little shove there, I think, to the Aurora defender, and everybody on the Aurora side saw it, but nobody probably on Monett saw that.
So it begins. So
yes.
We'll have to keep an eye on that and see how it goes the rest of the evening.
Rivalry games are a lot of fun.
Suppose they're talking to one another down there?
Hound Dog, not a revenge game,
Not
a rivalry game.
A rivalry game.
7-6, the Hounds leading on the Cubs right now. Monett first and 10. Meyer hands off to Branch. There's a hole, but it fills quickly. Good job by the Hound Dog defense. About 5 Hound Dogs corral Michael Branch at the 32.
Grayson Heath hit him up high. Kyle Todd came in and cleaned up.
That's the 37, by the way, to most people.
Yeah.
2-yard gain for the Cubs on first down. Good job of closing that hole.
It was. Great pursuit by that defense. Hounds have shifted up. They're going to the 4-man defensive line.
You can tell the Hounds are a little bit pumped here. That's good. Trying to get the Cubs on their heels. Ian Meyer, the quarterback, drops back to shotgun. 2 receivers on his right, 3 on his left. Looks for the screen pass to the right. He's got his man, but there's nowhere to go as he's brought down in the backfield. He'll lose yardage.
great play by the defense. The defensive line was let go by the blockers, and that's the first thing you think of is that middle screen.
Isaac Martinez was not fooled on that play.
He stayed at home perfectly and read that and stopped him, and they actually lost a yard on that.
So 3rd down, back to the line of scrimmage for the Cubs. Ian Meyer in the backfield, drops back, gets a signal from his coach again as they have 13 seconds left on the play clock. Meyer in the shotgun formation, 2 receivers on the right, 3 on the left. He's looking left. He's under pressure. He's going to let it go, and it is almost. It is intercepted.
It is picked up.
Intercepted by the Hound Dogs at about the 43-yard line.
Caleb Baker stuck one hand up in the air, and it just stuck in his hand somehow.
Well, he's a catcher. Caleb Baker's a catcher in baseball. He used those skills right there to just kind of tip the ball up to himself.
Brought it back down, brought the ball back. They're going to place it on about the 38-yard line. Hounds offense is back in business.
The defense is showing up stronger tonight than we've seen them, and it's good time to do so against a tough Monett offense. So 1st and 10 now for Peyton Evans and the Hound Dogs from the Monett 38-yard line. We'll see what they can do here.
It's time to stand on the pedal here.
Wyatt Neff next to Peyton Evans. Evans calls his own number. He's under pressure, but he breaks free and goes to the right side. He's got past the 35 near the 30. Looks like the 31, so he's going to pick up about 7 yards on a busted play.
One of the defenders from Monett had him in the backfield by the shirt, and Peyton had enough strength to pull away from it and, pulled up those 7 yards. So a great read, a great play on Peyton Evans for that positive yards. Again, Hounds moving the ball down the field. We're on about the 31-yard line.
They are undersized compared to Monett's line.
We may have a little quickness advantage, though.
That's what I was going to say. It looks like that may be what they're using. So 2nd down, Evans takes the ball, runs a little option play, fakes the pitch, keeps it himself near the 1st down marker before going out of bounds. We'll see if he got the 1st down.
Going by the spot, he's about 2 yards the other side of the 1st down marker, so they're going to be moving the chains. There's the signal.
There go the chains. 3:03 remaining here in the 1st quarter. The Hound Dogs leading the Cubs. Monett scored first after a fumble on the first offensive play by the Hound Dogs. They started 1st and 10 from the 11 and scored very quickly on a Michael Branch touchdown run, but the Hound Dogs answered quickly themselves with a nice touchdown pass to Caleb Baker.
1st down on the 28.
Evans, rough snap here again, but he corrals it, hits his man. I can't see who that is. I'm guessing that's Baker, but I can't tell for sure. Yep.
It is Baker again.
Baker's usually on that far side catching passes, and he's down to the 23-yard line, so 5-yard gain. 2nd down and 5 for the Hounds. 2:34 on the clock.
Caleb Baker may be one of these guys that, he's been consistent all year long, but he may kind of be the secret weapon for tonight.
Evans takes a snap, quick pass to the left. That is complete to Willard. Not a lot of running room there.
Well defended by Monett. Trying to see the number. The young man won't turn. Willard made the reception. Got a couple of yards.
Down to the 21. It'll be 3rd and 3.
He got one.
3 for the Hounds.
We're definitely in 2-down territory. We're on the 21-yard line. 2 downs to get 4 yards. I like our chances.
Wyatt Neff lines up to the right side of Peyton Evans. Peyton Evans in shotgun formation takes the snap, looking to his left. He's got his receiver there, but there's a defender there as well, but the ball bounces underneath him. So it's not an interception, but the pass is incomplete, intended for Clayton Dunning.
Clayton Dunning was in the vicinity, but had that ball had a little more air under it, it would have been a pick.
And Clayton had 3 touchdown catches last week in the game against East Newton, and that's a name we haven't called yet tonight.
I think we will before the night's over. Clayton's too good a receiver to be shut out. I think you're going to see Clayton make some big catches before this night's over.
So 4th down, big play for the Hound Dogs. 4th and 3, 1:42 on the clock. 7-6 Hound Dogs lead the Cubs. Peyton Evans throws the ball up in the air. See who comes down with it. There's the flag.
It's intercepted, but
there's the flag. As that was intercepted about the 1.
It was intended for Lawford, but we'll see what happens.
Let's see what the call is. It could be interference on either side. here. We'll have to get a ruling here. The defense is staying out there for Monett, so they think it's on them.
Nobody's changing positions yet.
Here's the call. Pass interference, Monett.
On the defense, so that'll be first down for the Hounds.
On a couple of occasions now in the last 2 or 3 plays from shotgun, Peyton's had a hard time hanging on to the snap.
I don't know if the ball's wet or if he's just trying to get a faster read on the defense, but like you said, the last 2 plays in particular, it's kind of looking like a little juggling act out there.
Yeah, kind of throws his time off just a little bit. He's got to have that timing to make that pass, because that is a definite timing pass you're trying to throw to Logan Lawfer in the right side of the end zone.
Absolutely.
But it's an automatic first down, so the Hounds 1st and 10. Now the ball marked on the 11.
So we can still get a first down without scoring a touchdown, but I just didn't see the Hounds punch it in.
1st and 10 for the Hound Dogs. 1:36 on the clock. Wyatt Neff lines up to the right side once again of Peyton Evans. Keaton Willard in motion. Evans rolls to his right. He's going to keep it. Trying to find an opening. Not a lot of room there. He might get a yard.
The Monett defense strung that out very well. It was a design call for Peyton Evans to just take the ball and go around the right end. Got about 1. You still have to make them respect as a defense that Peyton Evans can take off and run with the ball. So we got positive yards out of it, but that may have been just, let's see if you're paying attention.
If you would, mark down the Caleb Baker touchdown on your sheets there, so we have the touchdowns tonight. I don't have room to do so this evening. Another pass from Evans to the right is knocked down by the defense. So incomplete passes. He looked like he was trying to set up a wide receiver screen out there to Keaton Willard on the right side.
That little bubble screen that they threw out there, that number 44, I'm sorry, what's his name? For Monett.
That's the
big fullback.
Alex Turner.
Alex Turner. Had he been able to pull that in, there was nothing but yard lines in front of him, but he just decided to try to knock it down.
3rd and 9 late here in the first quarter. Evans at quarterback, takes the snap, looking left. He wants to go left. He keeps looking left, even under pressure, but he's going to be sacked. He needed to get rid of that one instead of being pushed back to the 20-yard line, about a 10-yard loss.
Yeah, he tried to give a little pump fake, I think, and had he just thrown it out the back of the end zone, we could have avoided that loss of 10.
One more play here in the quarters. They'll wind the play clock here shortly, and it's going to be about, let's see when they started. There it goes. And that's going to make it about a 3-second difference in the play clock and the game clock. So they'll have to run one more play here. 4th down and 16 from the 17. First down can be made at the 1-yard line. We'll see what the Hounds decide to do here on this 4th down play. A lot of movement as they line up 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Wyatt Neff in the backfield. He's going to block for Evans. Evans looking up the middle. He's got this receiver down near the first down, but not going to be quite to the first down. So pass is complete to Logan Lawfer, but he's going to be down, I believe, at about the 3 or 4 yard line, which is short of the first down. And that's where the Cubs will take over with 0.8 of a second remaining on the clock.
Well, if you can't score or get the first down, at least we've got Monett pinned deep in their own end zone.
Try to pin him down. They have the ability for sure to get out of this position, but the defense for Aurora looking much improved this evening.
Yeah, it's accelerated or grown up, whatever you want to call it, immeasurably.
Meyer hands off to Branch. Branch gets past the first defender and knocked over by the second at the 11. That is Keaton Willard that knocks him down about the 12-yard line. So an 8-yard gain on first down, and that's the final play of the first quarter. So we're going to take a break. We'll be back in just a moment. Your score after one quarter, Aurora 7, Monett 6.
He's on the 30. He's on the 20. He's on.
I couldn't find my papers.
Honey, don't you think that bedroom's a little too hot and this kitchen's just a little bit too cold?
Cousin Bobby did the best he could when he installed the heating. Isn't that right, Cousin Bobby?
Yep. If you plan to have somebody like Bobby install your heating and cooling system, you might check with the professionals. With over 50 years' experience, Central Sheet Metal in Aurora knows how to install a new carrier system in your home so every room is comfortable. Central Sheet Metal and Carrier. Professional installation, quality equipment.
As teenagers, everyone wanted to go Jeeping, and then you became an adult, you forgot about having fun? Come on, Springfield. I know you better than that. If it's been a while since you've smiled, come test drive a new Jeep at Youngblood. Right now, prices are at their lowest to get you in a Jeep. The summer clearance event at Youngblood Chrysler Jeep. Come ask for Gentry specials this August.
Maybe that's the reason so many people come to Shelter for their car insurance. We have great who are nuts about cars. We're competitive, and our claims people are fast, fair, and to find an agent near you, go to shelter.com. We're your shield. We're your
For a free insurance review, contact Shelter Insurance Agent in Aurora, Scott Thrasher in Monett, or Terry Lynn DeGraff and Reed Brown in Casco.
There's a project to make our community a to live. You'll always find local merchants right there, doing all they can to help. From sponsoring ball teams to taking barbecue at a community picnic, they're always there. Shop and invest locally. Community National Bank, a better bank. Member FDIC. Visit us online at cnbbank.com.
Back at Kelly Field, West missed one play there, Perry, where we're going. Aaron Howard, the ball carrier, picks up about a yard. It's going to be 3rd and 3 for the Cubs on Aurora's 40-yard line. So they are marching down the field, taking up some clock time. 8:35 on the clock here. Big third down play. Meyer takes the snap. Handoff to one of the receivers as he comes through. I'm trying to see who that number is. He gets down to the 34, and that'll be enough for a first down.
Number 20 on the carry.
Number 20 is Mason Swearingen. Swearingen is a 5'9" senior, 170 pounds. Pickup of about 8 yards on the play will be a first down for the Cubs from the 34-yard line. 8:16 remaining. The Hound Dogs clinging to a 7-6 lead on the Cubs. Meyer takes the snap. Hands off up the middle. That's Michael Branch. He carries the pile, which he does a lot, down to about the 26-yard line. Pickup of about 8.
That's just plain old power football right there. Blocking between the guard and the tackle. He followed the lead and picked up those 8 yards.
2nd and 2 for the Cubs.
You notice this is kind of turning into an old-fashioned Big 8 struggle now.
It does look that way.
We kind of had that flourish right there at the start, but it's turned into just Big 8 Friday night football.
Meyer takes the snap, hands off to the receiver around the right side. He's down near the first down. Looks like he's got enough for the first down. Down near the 22-yard line, which would be about a 5-yard gain. Kyle Todd knocks him down at the 23-yard line, but that is enough for a first down. So 1st and 10, Monett managing the clock well here on this drive. Down now near 7 minutes remaining in the half.
Nothing flashy. It's just methodical power football right down the field.
Meyer takes a snap under center, hands to Michael Branch. He's met quickly this time by the Hound Dogs and pushed out of bounds.
Connor Savage.
He had 14 solo tackles, Perry, last week.
He's one of those young men we've been waiting to watch play. Blake Williams had an assist on that. They were hanging on for dear life and pushed Branch out after a 1-yard gain.
2nd and 9 for Monett as they are down to the 23. I'm trying to see where that is.
Pretty close to that. Pretty close to the 23.
We'll call it that. 7:07 on the clock. Ian Meyer under center has Michael Branch behind him. Hands to him, and he is dragging 3 Aurora defenders another couple of yards before he is down inside the 20 at about the 16.
Number 4, Casey Weatherman, was hanging on for dear life, waiting for help to arrive. He's trying to dig his heels in, but Branch was just kind of pulling him along.
So 3rd and 2 for the Cubs. Under 7 minutes now in the quarter. Meyer, quarterback sneak up the middle, and he'll push the pile and get a first down for Monett. That was just a simple push the pile and see if you can get the couple of yards needed for the first down, and he does just that with the help of his offensive line.
About a pickup of 7 for the quarterback, and that was just kind of, I'm going to snap the ball to me and everybody move en masse. It was just one pile of Monett Cubs moving as forward as they could.
First and 10 from the 10. They put the chain markers down, so first and goal. Handoff to the first man through. Aaron Howard down to about the 5-yard line, 5-yard gain, half the distance he needed.
Connor Savage sticking his head back in there, making another tackle.
Yeah, you know, I was telling you, 14 solo tackles for him last week, and that's ranging up in there in the ranges of some of those guys last year that were just astronomical numbers.
Well, it's taken Connor a little while to get his feet up under him, but he's really starting to come on now.
Meyer drops back, hands off to, look like Turner again, down near the goal line, and he's in. He falls across the goal line. That is Aaron Howard, and he will give the Cubs the lead once again, now up 12-7.
Monett is just kind of flexing their muscle. Those big young men up front, they're just kind of ripping holes in the Roar defense. So the Roar needs to make some defensive adjustments. You know, we held them there for a while, and you know, it's that time of the game where those adjustments are going to be made. So it's time for the Hound defense to do their share.
At the half, East Newton 8, Aurora. Seneca 0. So East Newton has a lead at the break.
To give the ball to Michael Branch for the 2-point attempt, and he bowls his way through for a 2-point conversion.
So 5:30 remaining here in the first half. Monett takes a touchdown lead as they're on top now, 14-7.
You know, if you'd have told me at this time it was 14-7, you know, this takes us back to yesteryear. You know, you call it a rivalry, you call it a revenge game. This is just Friday night football in the Big 8 Conference right here.
Yeah, and a lot of times what you get when you match, you know, whether it's Aurora Monett or Aurora Mount Vernon, it seems to me, and I know Monett would say it's either Monett Aurora or Monett Cassville, is that rivalry that they deal with. You can almost throw those records right out the book, you know, and play the game to see what happens for sure.
You know, especially with this game, there's so many people in Aurora work in Monett. I'm sure, you know, mamas and daddies of both sides have been talking all week, looking forward to this one.
Mount Vernon leads McDonald County 14-8 at the end of the first quarter. Monett sets up on the 40 to kick. That's Cameron Cody, the kicker. His kickoff back deep to Logan Loffer. He catches it about the 2-yard line, starts up the middle to the 20, 25, 30, near the 35 before he finally is tripped up. Nice return by, I was giving Logan credit for it. I think that was Weatherman, wasn't it? Nope, it was Loffer. 4 and 5 look a lot alike from my eyes.
Loffer again gives him that little shimmy, shake right there in the middle. And had a couple of Cub defenders just kind of grab at air, and he picked up another 10 yards.
Can you order one of those at the Sonic Drive-In?
I don't know. That might be one of the flavors.
The shimmy, shake?
Shimmy, shake?
What do you get in a shimmy, shake?
I'm afraid to ask. A whole lot of shaking going on.
I like it, though. First and 10 for the Hound Dogs. They got 5:23 to make something happen here in the first half. Evans takes the snap, hands off to Neff. Up the middle, not much room to move around there.
You know, you have to make them respect that running game. Neff went right up the middle. 71, I believe, is the young man on the tackle for Monett. He was waiting for him in the hole, so it's little or no gain for Wyatt.
Second and 10 for the Hound Dogs as they look to retake the lead or at least even things up before the halftime break here against the Cubs.
Curious to see if we try to find Caleb Baker again in the short passing.
3 receivers on the right, 1 on the left. Evans drops back. He's looking. He's got Baker, as you say, up the middle at the 42-yard line. Pickup of about 9. And you called it. 3rd and 1 for the Hound Dogs.
Yeah, like I said, Caleb's been, you know, having a huge role in the offense tonight, so it's good to see him get back involved. 3rd and 1 for the Hounds from about the 41.
4:09 left on the clock. Mount Monett leading Aurora 14-7. Evans rolls to his right. He's going to keep it. He's got a hole. He's at the 45. Following his blockers down the right sideline. to about the 48-yard line. That will be plenty for a Hound Dog first down.
Great block seal on the backside by Wyatt Neff, slowing down the pursuit. And Keaton Willard out here fighting with a defensive back, still opening up some more holes.
You know, and the hard part for Keaton Willard there is to not hold. You know, you're trying to fight that guy and keep him out of the way, but it's easy to hold right there, isn't it?
It is, especially out there on that island and the officials standing right there beside you.
3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. That's Logan Loffer. Evans looking left. He's going to roll out to his right, looking for a hole. He'll take off at midfield, 45 to the 40, 35, and he's pushed out of bounds at about the 33-yard line. So another successful run for quarterback Peyton Evans.
He looked to try to throw the ball to Clayton Dunning on the left side, and he was covered, and he just pulled the ball down and took off for about 18 yards.
3:31 on the clock. Plenty of time for the Hound Dogs to get into the end zone here.
Again, Peyton Evans showed why he's one of the top quarterbacks in the Big 8.
Evans in the backfield, takes the snap. Here comes the rush. Throws out quickly to Caleb Baker on the right flat. He'll gain maybe a yard or two. We'll see about the 32, so we'll give him 2 on first down.
Good play call by the Hounds. The Cubs sent their outside linebacker on a blitz, and they picked it up. Well, that's right where Caleb Baker was attempting to make his cut for his pass pattern. So great play call in the situation. The cornerback came up and made the stop, but great call on the Hounds.
First and 10 for the Hound Dogs. I'm sorry, 2nd and 8 for the Hound Dogs from the 32-yard line. Play clock at 18. Evans in the backfield with Wyatt Neff. Takes the snap, going to do a little motion offense there, and not much room as he was going out to the option to Neff and decided to cut it up the field instead. He's near the 31, a pickup of 1.
Yeah, that was, I don't know if that was one of the better decisions he's made this evening, but he got positive yards out of it, so at least we're moving it forward.
3rd and 7 for the Hound Dogs as they need to get to the 23, I believe that is. And
again, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, like you said, it may be Clayton Dunning or Caleb Baker time. They're lined up on the left side. Logan Loffer on the right. Evans drops back, looks left, can't find a receiver, and the defense gets to him at the 36-yard line as he goes down.
Loss of about 4 yards. Quarterback sack there by Monett. They sent 2 linebackers right up the middle. Tried to pick one up, but the second one got loose and found Peyton in the backfield and dropped him for the loss. So 4th down and about 12.
Hound Dogs will call a timeout here. Interesting with the timeout here, Perry, your thoughts as far as on a 4th down play. You want to get the right play called, no doubt, but you're giving Monett a little bit more time before the break.
Yeah, that just gives them a little more time to kind of set their defense. But, your punt's not going to do any good. It's going to go into the end zone. So you want to make sure everybody's on the same page. You're going to get you a play that can hopefully get you a first down or, at least get you enough yardage to pin them as deep as you can.
I'm agreeing with our video professional here. This is where you, on the 4th down, you go for the long ball and consider it a punt if it's intercepted. And if not, maybe you find success. So yeah. Eli must have some background in basketball.
Yeah.
All basketball coaches think you should throw long on every play.
Kick. Punt,
an onside kick.
Yeah, pass and onside kick. That's the basketball coach's theory of football.
Most definitely. We'll see what the Hound Dogs do as Peyton Evans is their punter tonight, so he could do the quick kick from the 40-yard line. We'll see. Aurora has the ball on the 36. Evans in the backfield, takes the snap, drops back. He's looking to pass. He's going to do just that and throw the ball deep to Clayton Dunning. He's got it inside the 5.
There, I told you, Clayton Dunning was going to make a big grab before it's over, and there he stepped up.
He is marked down at the 3, and the Hound Dogs will have 1st and goal from the 3. Great throw by Peyton Evans, hits Clayton Dunning on the run. Nice play.
33 yards on a 4th and 12.
And Eli was right all along.
Yeah, give Eli he gets the call of the night right there.
He knows more about this game than we do.
We'll
give
go
him
get
the
a hot dog
headset.
and we'll let him do it.
No doubt. 1st and goal from the 3. 2:28 remaining. Wyatt Neff on the left side of Peyton Evans. Evans in the shotgun, takes the snap, Hands off to Neff. Met at the line of scrimmage. There's just nowhere to go with Neff tonight in that running game as he gets pile drive to the ground at about the 7.
Yeah, that looked like WWE wrestling move there.
And he's a big guy.
Yeah, he's a horse.
If you can pick him up, yeah, that's quite a pick. So 2nd down and goal as the Hound Dogs will lose 4 on that play, and all that does is give them more room to pass the ball, right?
Yeah, that opens up that passing game just a little bit more back there in the end zone for those receivers to run around.
Hound Dogs call the timeout here, 14-7. Monett is 3-1 on the season. Their only loss coming against Lamar last week. 1-1 in the conference. Aurora 1-3 on the season. Their only win coming last week against East Newton. They're also 1-1 in the Big 8 conference.
Okay, I think Aurora's got one timeout left as we come to the end of the first half here. So again, they're trying to make sure everybody's on the same page. 2nd down, and where'd you say the ball was? About the 8?
Yeah, 7 or 8 yard line.
So, we're I don't see us lining up for a field goal. So we've got 3 plays to get this 8 yards.
Yeah,
so.
you got 2 minutes
Plenty
on
of
the
time.
clock, so
Plenty
plenty
of
of time.
time.
One timeout remaining as well. 14-7 game. Like you said, Perry, if I had told you before this game started at the 2-minute mark of the 2nd quarter we would be threatening to tie this thing up, you'd have been very happy with that.
I'd have been happy, as they say on TV.
Yes. Duck Dynasty would have nothing on you.
Absolutely not.
And they don't have anything on you, Perry.
They still don't. No, they don't.
You could grow a beard like that.
I could, but it would be ugly.
But
Very
well,
ugly.
theirs are ugly.
Well, yeah.
Here we go. Peyton Evans in the shotgun. He takes the shotgun snap, looking left to throw. He's got a man in the corner open. That just misses him in the corner. I'm trying to see who was running that side route.
Caleb Baker on the outside.
Caleb Baker came around in motion and then just took off for that back pylon, and he just missed him.
Just by that much. Great pattern, though, because Caleb Dunning was underneath, and he had drawn a couple of defenders, and that's who I thought the pass was originally.
Yeah, I did too. And
Well,
then
he's thrown that way over his head. Well, all of a sudden you see number 10 come streaking to the corner of the end zone, so it may have been intended for Baker all along.
3 receivers on the left. That's Willard, Baker, and Dunning. Logan Loffer on the right. 3rd down. Here we go. He's looking across the middle. He's got his man. There's a little bit of a contact in the end
but I
zone.
don't see any flags.
No yellow flags being flown, but there was body contact for sure before that pass got there.
There was a lot of contact there. Of all the flags we saw in the first quarter, and I'm not trying to criticize the officials, but that was kind of one of those deals. It's like, I'll be darned.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be thrown, be a 1st and goal from the 1 or 2 yard line then, but now it's 4th down and 8. The Hound Dogs line up to go for it. They don't line up for the field goal.
Nope, they're going to go for it.
Now they call their last timeout to talk about this. I'm not sure I wouldn't kick this one. They've got a kicker that can do this.
Yeah, but they're kicking into the wind. The wind's coming out of the due south. The American flag on the north side of the field is blowing pretty good, but the markers on the south goalpost they're not moving very much. So I don't know if the trees and the houses are blocking it very much, but we got quite a difference. It looks like in wind speed on each end of the field. So the Hounds take a timeout, and they're discussing their different options and abilities here, seeing what they want to do here as we approach the halftime. Again, that's their last timeout, so they need to make sure they back to the duck thing.
Well,
they need to make sure their ducks are in a row here.
They on their last offensive possession, ended up stalling out inside the 5, and if they do it again here, but right before the half, those things could come back to haunt them at the end. They would really like to get this score before the halftime break.
Yeah, we've talked about, you get inside that 20-yard line, you need to draw points every time you get in there.
Same 3 receivers on the left. It's Keaton Willard, Caleb Baker, and Clayton Dunning. Logan Loffer to the right. Evans looking left. He's going to throw it up. It's up and knocked away by the Monett defender.
It was kind of a jump ball. Caleb Baker went up after it. The defender was right there with him, and he didn't try to catch it. He just tried to swat it away, and he batted the ball back toward the sideline.
So the Hounds will turn it over to the Cubs with 1:47 remaining here. Now the defense has to be strong and keep them from being able to have a big play. Michael Branch usually has at least one big one in him. Brian Parra Navarro had a big game last week against Lamar, and you don't want to see a big touchdown run here at the end of the break.
No, you want to make sure everybody's got their assignments, because this is the last thing you want is a big play this close to the end of the half.
Here we go. Ian Meyer under center. He takes the snap, hands off to Michael Branch to the right, pushing the pile. Good job by the Hound Dog defense to converge on Branch, and they will only allow him to pick up about 3.5 on first down. Good football game here in Aurora in this first half.
It is. You know, the way the weather was earlier in the day, we didn't know what was going to take place, but it's turned into a good one.
Ian Meyer, quarterback keeper, he is knocked down at the 11, as I think, I'm trying to see if that was a flag or a marker. Yep, holding on the Cubs.
Holding on the Cubs. Kyle Todd shot in there and dropped him for a loss, if not just no gain. Hounds may decline this penalty and kill the down. That way, but we'll see what they do here.
See what they decide to do here.
Now they're going to push him back, it looks like.
1:12 remaining in the first half.
So they're going to push him back as far as they can. It'll still be second down. It looks like about, well,
at the 4 now.
So about 2nd and 13 for the Cubs.
At the 4, the first down marker is at the 12. Those numbers don't add up, Perry. But you're right. 2nd and 13. Must be the 17 where that marker is. And it is Michael Branch getting past the 10-yard line. And once again, that Hound Dog defense converging on him. Not a lot of running room as he picks up 5. And from where you're standing, you probably didn't see what I saw just now, did you?
I'm concerned. What did you see? And tell me it doesn't start with a letter L.
It does. And it was red.
Oh, well, that's as long as
you know, it was one of those. It's not like it was a storm lightning.
Maybe somebody was just taking some photos.
3rd and 7. Here's Ian Meyer looking for a receiver. He's scattered. He's got an open man. However, at the 30, he catches it there and is knocked down at the 33. Is on that particular play. Sees Jay Job, the receiver, as he saw his quarterback in trouble and came back to the ball and got the reception and a first down. 20 seconds remaining in the half.
They had pressure. Kyle Todd had almost wrapped him up in the background, in the backfield, but you know what, almost gets you not a whole lot. And he stepped up, receiver was open. He came back to the ball, made a nice reception, and picked up 24 yards on that, 2nd and 13.
Yeah, so Monett calls a timeout. They'll have 1st and 10. But just 20 seconds remaining, so they're almost going to need that big play in order to get to the end zone here before the break. And once again, if I told you that you were going to go into the locker room trailing the Monett Cubs 14-7, you'd have been happy as well.
Absolutely. I'm going to bring up the one thing that the Hounds have done well, not just this season, but for the last several. The word is adjustment. They go in at halftime and they seem to be masters at making adjustments on both offense and defense. So I'm really curious, now that the weather's not going to be a problem, I'm really curious to see the adjustments the Hounds make at halftime.
Here we go, 1st and 10. Ian Myers in the backfield by himself. Takes the snap. He's looking to his left, trying to find a receiver. He's going to throw the ball up, and he'll throw it out of bounds. 14 seconds left.
Meyer under pressure from Grayson Heath, and I can't see the other number. Wyatt Neff down there. They were both putting pressure on him, so where he had to throw under duress. And that, he just rear back and threw it over the entire offense and defense. There was nobody out there within 5 yards of it.
Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 defensive backs for the Hound Dogs. 4-man rush. Short pass.
Nearly intercepted.
Intercepted. Caught by the receiver down there. What number is that, Perry?
16.
Jed Anderson catches the tip, but that was almost intercepted and run back for a Hound Dog score.
That was so close. And a great stop by Peyton Evans. It was a 6-yard gain there for the Cubs, but had Peyton, he upended the guy, turned the guy completely upside down, landed on his shoulders. Had Peyton Evans not made that tackle, that young man would have run for a good while.
4.9 remaining in the first half, 14-7 in favor of the Cubs. Monett calls another timeout here. They have none remaining, neither team with a timeout. So this will be the final play, basically, of the first half as Monett's trying to put together some kind of fancy play that'll go, about 60 yards.
Should we go to Eli and ask him what to do?
Eli would say, throw the bomb.
Throw, air it out, turn it loose.
Hey, he's probably right. One way or another, I'm thinking maybe a little hook and ladder, a little hitch and pitch.
I think you're going to see, you got triplets out here on the left. They may just see what kind of speed they got out here.
That's your 3 stars on offense besides Ian Meyer, quarterback. He's lined up in the backfield by himself.
2 split wide right, so you got 5 receivers.
Here we go. Myers got the ball. He throws it across the middle, incomplete. And with good clock management, but by our clock operator, whoever that is, the time runs out in the first half.
So we're at halftime here between the Aurora Hound Dogs and the Monett Cubs on KSWM 940. Monett holds the lead at 14-7.
We will take our break, let Perry do some mathematician issues, and have some stats for you when we come back on KSWM AM 940.
Doesn't matter who picks up your trash. These have many options, but the best choice is the local. We at WD Trash Service have been doing this locally for more than a quarter century. We have a track record of supporting the local community through the support of schools, the Chamber of Commerce, and other local businesses. From the hiring of local employees.
School's about to start. Back to school sales on markers, crowns, kid clothes, but what you want is to save money on a car. This month, save big during our back to school event only at Youngblood Nissan. Right now, lease the 2016 Rogue for $189 a month, the 2016 Pathfinder for $279 a month, or the 2016 Sentra for only $149 a month. To see more, visit our website, check us out on Facebook, or swing by and our friendly sales staff will be happy to show you around. Youngblood Nissan. We make it easy for you.
Honey, don't you think that bedroom's a little too hot and this kitchen's just a little bit too cold?
Cousin Bobby did the best he could when he installed the heating. Isn't that right, Cousin Bobby?
Yep. If you plan to have somebody like Bobby install your heating and cooling system, you might check with the professionals. With over 50 years experience, Central Sheet Metal in Aurora knows how to install a new carrier system in your home so every room is comfortable. Central Sheet Metal and Carrier. Professional installation, quality equipment.
As teenagers, everyone wanted to go Jeeping, and then you became an adult, you forgot about having fun? Come on, Springfield. I know you better than that. If it's been a while since you've smiled, come test drive a new Jeep at Youngblood. Right now, prices are at their lowest to get you in a Jeep. The summer clearance event at Youngblood Chrysler Jeep. Come ask for Gentry specials this August.
Sorry.
14 St. James. From usual as well. But we work through those things, don't we? The show still goes on.
It still goes on. We've got good people helping us here.
So we are working hard here in the press box. 9 minutes till the second half. The band continues to play. Perry, you have some numbers to share with us. Anything knock you in the face when you look at them?
Yeah, we're going to start with Monett first. Again, these are, we say this every week. These are very unofficial. Monett's got a total of 194 yards total offense in the half. They're 4 for 7 for 81, passing the ball, 113 yards on the ground. Of that 113, Michael Branch has 14 carries. I have him for an even 70 yards. So he's carried the brunt of the load offensively for Monett.
And yet, Perry, I'm sorry to interrupt you,
okay.
but yet not been I want to say a force. I mean, he's got 70 yards. That's good, obviously, but he's not been overpowering as what we expected. That may see that still in the second half, but to this point, the defense is doing a pretty good job on him.
They have, and you bring up a great point. You figure if someone has 100 yards rushing in a game, they've had a great game. He's got 70 yards in the first half. But that's about the quietest 70 yards.
That's what, yeah.
You can remember.
Maybe that's what I'm trying to say as much as anything is just a quiet 70 yards. He's got a. Does he have a touchdown? I'm trying to remember.
I don't think so.
Their scores. I was unable to write these down tonight. If you could see our situation, folks, we're leaning against the wall.
Yeah. We've got so much stuff up here tonight. We're trying to do the best we can here for you, but we can try to get hopefully get some statistics
Just
better
a-
for you in the morning on the talking dogs. We can get this kind of cleared up.
Just to
and
give them
you
an
some
idea,
more.
Perry, how much of the field can you see?
From where I'm standing,
Yes.
I can see from one 40-yard line to the 30 on the other side. So I've got about 25 yards with field of vision.
Yeah, that's what mine's a little better than that. Not a whole lot. I can lean my head out the window and see the whole field.
So I'm trying to listen to you and listen to the guys in the booth over here giving us numbers and trying to see the web feed, kind of trying to keep up that way. So there's no telling what I might say this second half.
Other numbers.
Other numbers for Aurora, 141 yards in the first half, 37 rushing, led by Peyton Evans with 39. Excuse me, sir.
Yep.
Which is kind of funny. 37 yards total, and Peyton Evans has got 39. So Wyatt Neff's got -2. That's where it's not I can't add. That's just the way it came out.
Well, it's that they found some success with Peyton running. A couple of those were longer runs of broken plays,
Right.
even. But with his athletic ability, he was able to turn those into some nice positive yards. No success with the running game whatsoever with Wyatt Neff running. I wouldn't understand why they would be keen on Mr. Neff this evening. Explain this to me.
After what he did last week against East Newton, you see that tape. You know, they realize, you know, Peyton hadn't been running the ball that much. But, you know, they're seeing Neff run off 10, 15-yard chunks at a time last week against East Newton. They're probably keeping a close eye on him. Going back to Aurora's numbers, 4 different receivers touched the ball for 104 yards passing. Clayton Dunning has 1 reception, but it was a big one for 33 yards. Caleb Baker's kind of been the star of the show here. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got 6 catches for 43 yards. Logan Lawford's got 1 catch for 12. And Keaton Willer's got 2 catches for 16. So they're kind of spreading the ball around. Nobody getting an exorbitant amount of yardage, but, you know, 104 yards in the half mixed up between 4 receivers. That's something we have to continue here in the second half.
Well, Logan is stepping in there, I'm sure, for Devin Hilton's spot, and I love Logan's speed. I'd like to see him try to get one over the top and let him just take off down the field and see what happens as well.
He's got that shimmy, shake and that shiftiness that we just absolutely love to watch him run. You know, he's just a sophomore, so we're going to have him for a couple more years after this one. So just big things yet to come from him, but he is so fun to watch when he gets the ball and takes off down the field.
Perry mentioned it tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. The Talking Dogs will be on KSWM AM 940. We'll have lots to talk about in this game. There's going to be a lot to talk about time this is all said and done.
We got a lot of football yet tonight, so you know, it's been an entertaining ball game. A lot of people say 14-7. Well, that sounds kind of like a 3 yards in a cloud of dust deal, but you know, it's been an entertaining football game.
Also, we'll be talking about softball. Softball won the Walnut Grove tournament last Saturday, and then that evening, or backwards, they won in the evening and in the afternoon. The soccer dogs won the Thomas Jefferson tournament with 3 wins on that tournament, all in overtime, Perry.
Wow.
So
nothing like nail biters.
Yeah, so we will talk about those things tomorrow on the Talking Dogs as well. Going to probe Perry a little farther tomorrow, talk a little bit more about the flag kneeling issue. I've got a couple of questions I want to get him riled up again.
Okay.
Tomorrow. I got you riled last week with it.
I'm pumped up already.
Yeah, you'll want to tune in for this, folks. You don't want to miss this. And if you can't listen to it live, and by that I mean you are too lazy to get up in the morning on Saturdays, then I would tell you to listen online at hounddogsports.com. Link right there at the top of the page for the broadcast. You can listen to each week's episode just minutes after we get off the air.
Yeah, if you live the Roger Wheeler philosophy of life and you like to sleep in, you can
I'm
listen
up early.
to us anytime. Oh, yeah, early.
Well, Saturdays I am.
Well,
that's early for me.
That's early for you.
Yeah.
How long has it been since you've seen 6 a.m.?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
I really don't want to talk about it because I can't remember that far back. But you have to realize I work nights.
Well, that's true.
So there you have it. I sleep in the mornings and work my nights. That's the Hound Dog Sports life right there, covering every sport imaginable. But 2 minutes left on the clock and count, and they'll put 3 on it again, which I never have understood, but that's what they'll do. We're going to take a break. We come back. It'll be about time for the second half here on the Talon Sports Network.
Hi, this is Sherry Hall, and I want to invite you to come down and enjoy some food at your pizza place located at 1602 South Elliott in Aurora.
We'll see you at the zoo.
Roger Wheeler back with you at Kelly Field. Monett leads at the half over the Hound Dogs 14-7. And we've got a battle for you for the second half here. 3 minutes till the kickoff of the second half. And Perry, with all of the weather and the situations with the internet and with the radio station and the broadcast and all, have we said it's homecoming?
No, we haven't. We've of all the things going on, we've neglected that.
It is homecoming for Aurora tonight. The class of 1966 is having their 50th reunion tomorrow.
Wow. I will hope there's a lot of people back. We had our 30th here before not too long ago, and saw a lot of people I hadn't seen since the night we graduated. So those reunions can be a lot of fun.
50 years. Ours 50 year will be soon, Perry.
It goes by in a hurry.
It really does. But we do welcome the 1966 graduating class. Any of those listening to us tonight. I know you have a special guest listening tonight that was sick and unable to make it tonight.
I've heard kind of through the grapevine that Mona Thatch is kind of under the weather, and she let us know that she wasn't going to be able to attend tonight. So, Mona, we're hoping that you're feeling better, and we're glad that you tuned in to spend a little time with us for Hound Dog football. And again, we hope you get to feeling better very soon.
I promised her that you and I would make her feel like she was right there at the game.
Well, I hope so.
If only we had a little mud to throw at her or something.
No,
we better not
do that.
That's not a good idea, but we do hope you feel better, Mona. We are thinking about you.
There's no bigger Hound Dog fan
No.
out there than her.
No way. Not whatsoever. Scores. You've got a couple of halftime or scores from this evening. Some of them are at halftime, I think. I don't think we're all at halftime.
Last
different
we heard,
start times, huh?
Again, due to the weather, we have Branson and Carl Junction tied at 3 at the half. At the half, East Newton is up 8-0 on Seneca. That East Newton team is, they proved last week that they're greatly improved, so they could shock some
Both
people.
of those scores are surprising.
East Newton Cassville is playing St. James, and at half, Cassville Wildcats are up 14-6. And here's one that's kind of surprised me. In the third quarter, Mount Vernon 38, McDonald County 6. Mountaineers must be throwing the ball all over the lot.
Mount Vernon can score points for sure. That is something the Hound Dogs will deal with in a few weeks at Mount Vernon. But they can definitely score points. So, and yet, Monett can too.
Yeah, it's true.
And they scored a lot of points this year, and the Hound Dogs have held them to just 14 here in the first half. Looking for a very interesting second half. Monett won the toss and deferred, so they will receive here for the second half. They're already lined up ready to go. So Coach Derek Uhl, I'm sure, let them have a nice little conversation in the locker room.
I bet they had to repaint the locker room. That may have been while they were delayed out coming back in, because after all that penalty-riddled first quarter.
Yeah, I think they had 9 penalties in the first half.
Yeah, I'm sure they're I don't want to say their opinions, but I'm sure they were instructed that they need to play a little smarter football.
Yeah, they came out of the locker room, and the 11 kickoff return team players immediately went to their positions, and they've been in position for a good minute and a half. So they are awaiting the kickoff here. Jeremy Schobrock puts the ball on the 40, and he is preparing to kick off, and it's time for the second half of football here at Big 8 football in Aurora. Kickoff down the middle to about the 8-yard line. Little razzmatazz to see who has the ball there as they get the return out to about the 24.
Nice stop by Austin Hartwigs, and they were trying to fake the little reverse there on the return. He didn't buy it, stayed in his lane, and looks like they're going to take over on about the 24-yard line.
You have the shimmy, shimmy, shake. I have the razzmatazz.
Yeah. I say you can get. Well,
there's got to be a flavor.
Yeah, there's got to be something.
We've got to talk about this after the game.
Yep.
We may be in the millions. All right, 1st and 10 for the Cubs as they line up on the 24-yard line. Ian Meyer under center. Michael Branch behind him. He'll get the handoff on the first down, and he is met in the backfield.
Smothered by Casey Weatherman, number 4.
Casey Weatherman and
Connor
Savage. I was going to say those two names as they knock him down in the backfield for a loss of about 4.
4. It's good to see those linebackers getting penetration in there. Blake Williams got the start tonight, and he's been very active in there also.
So 2nd down and 14 from the 23-yard line now. Meyer under center, Branch in the backfield. Toss to Branch. Branch met at the line of scrimmage. Not a lot of room there either.
Blake Williams and Grayson Heath met him at the line of scrimmage. I got very little gain there again. Connor Savage filling in, helped clean up. So we got about the 4 yards that they previously lost. So we're back to 3rd down and 10.
3rd and 10 for the Cubs as they line up in an obvious passing situation with that split line. Only one in the backfield is Ian Meyer. He's getting the play call from his coach. He'll take the snap. 3 receivers on the left. He looks left. Fires. The open man is Michael Branch at about the 35. He is out of bounds. Now he's still fighting, but whistles are blowing, so he's out of bounds.
Flag
Here comes
on the
flag.
field. There's another flag.
I don't know if that's a late hit out of bounds on the Hound Dogs or a little celebration on the Cubs. So we'll see which way it is. I'm going to bet it's a late hit.
We're going to find out. They're circled up on the far sideline. The referee's walking them back, turning around. Going to get the signal. 19 if it stands. Personal foul, Aurora.
Must have got a hit out of bounds or after the whistle on that one. So a 19-yard gain will have some added yardage tacked on to put the ball into Aurora territory. Perry, one of the things that Coach Kilgo and I talked about this week was that this defense had a little bit of a chip on its own shoulders. They were being told how much Michael Branch was going to dominate against them, and they were going to do their best not to let him be the one from the backfield that dominates them.
You know, again, this rivalry revenge game, the 2 times we played Monett last year, we seem to have their number defensively. And it seems like, it's still early in the second half. But, we may have discovered something on film or somewhere. Again, we're having great defensive stops here. Here's another one right here, blown up completely at the point of attack. Carlos Cordova, big number 68 from that nose guard, just blew up number 42.
Aaron Howard he'll lose maybe a half a yard there on 1st down. You're blown up is exactly right. He was met at the line of scrimmage and nowhere to go against that Hound Dog defense.
So we're Hounds have shifted again to that 4 down. Those 4 down linemen, those 3 linebackers behind them, and they're just look like they're chomping at the bit to get after it.
Meyer drops back. He sets up the screen out to the right. Intended for Alex Turner, but he can't hang on to it, so incomplete. Bring up a 3rd down and a long 10 for the Cubs. They had 2 receivers going down the middle of the field. I don't know if you saw them, but they were both wide open.
Turner's another one of those young men that's just he's a brute. The ball, thankfully for the Hounds, was thrown a little too far in front of him. And
Meyer alone in the backfield. He 15 seconds on the play clock. Jumps out of his shotgun. Now ready again. Takes the snap. Looking to his left. Has to roll to his left. He's got pressure. He throws. Pass is incomplete, but there is a flag.
I think it's going to be a late hit on the Hounds.
You just can't have that. You've got 3rd and long, and you get the result you want.
Roughing the passer on the Hounds. Personal foul.
Rough the passer on 3rd and 11. That'll give the Cubs an automatic 1st down. So the first quarter saw the Cubs making some mistakes. Now the Hounds, with a roughing the passer and a late hit out of bounds, are helping the Cubs move right down the field.
Last 2 plays, the Hounds have put good pressure on the quarterback. They just haven't been able to kind of wrangle him in. Malik Baker was putting pressure on him when he stepped up for the previous completion, and Kyle Todd was chasing him there and just couldn't quite get to him in time.
So 1st and 10 from the 32 of the Hound Dogs for the Cubs, as the Hounds have helped them with about 25 extra yards here. Meyer hands off the branch straight up the middle. He's through the hole, and he's going to go the distance for the touchdown. That's a 32-yard touchdown, as he went straight up the middle and was barely touched it, if touched at all, for that score.
Now that, you can call that power football. You can call it, just straight ahead blocking. But he went again right between the guard and the center, and there was not a red shirt that laid a hand on him.
20-7, as Cameron Cody sets up for the extra point. He missed his one other attempt. Let's see if he hits this one. Snap, ball is down, kick is up, and good.
It's good.
So the Cubs take a 21-7 lead here on the Hound Dogs, and that's exactly what the Cubs needed for sure, but the Hound Dogs did their part to help out on that one.
Yeah, those 2 big penalties hurt their defense quite a bit, but now the Hounds are going to have to answer. We got to get that offense back on the field. A lot of these guys play both ways, so the guys that just come off the defense side, they're going to turn around and play offense. Now they've got to get their heads up and get prepared to try to respond to and answer that score.
21-7 our score in favor of the Cubs. Cameron Cody already putting the ball down at the 40. The Hounds still break the huddle, ready for their first offensive possession of the second half. Logan Loffer will be deep along with Clayton Dunning and Caleb Baker. 9:35 on the clock here in the 3rd.
We started the game, we had a pretty good breeze, but it seemed like the wind has died here, so we'll see how far this ball makes its way toward the end zone. See, maybe Logan Loffer can bust one here for a long return.
It's time for a little of his shimmy, shimmy, shake, Perry.
Yep.
Here's the kickoff. See if they kick to him. They do. It's going to go into the end zone, however.
It's going to come out.
And the Hound Dogs will have 1st and 10 from the 20.
That is such a weapon when you've got somebody that can kick the ball into the end zone and deny somebody the ability to run it back. In high school football especially, that you set up the offense on the 20-yard line, gives them 80 yards to go for a score. That's kind of an unknown, I don't say unknown, but a weapon that most people don't realize.
So Peyton Evans brings out his Hound Dogs for their first position of the second half. Wyatt Neff to the left of Evans in the backfield. Evans takes a snap, quick pass out to Keaton Willard, and that pass is just simply dropped.
I think Keaton might have been looking for places to run before the ball got there. It hit him in the hands. Good ball thrown by Peyton Evans. He was just looking for real estate to gain after he made the catch. So just a drop pass. So 2nd down and 10 from the 20-yard line for the Hound Dog offense.
There wasn't a lot of running room going to be had for Willard on this near side. If he catches that ball, he's going to gain maybe 1 or 2 yards, but we'll see what happens here. 2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Neff in the backfield with Evans. Keaton Willard in motion. And the snap to Evans. He shuffles it out to Neff. Neff down the right sideline. Not a lot of running room there as he's right at that same down marker near the 20. See if they give him any gain. No, I don't think so. I think it's going to be 3rd and 10.
Yeah, they're bringing the ball right back to the 20-yard line. So it was just a designed option. The officials got a timeout. Looks like we may have an equipment. Oh, they're going to say it was a loss of 2.
Yeah, they pushed. This near side official was on the 20, and he just took 2 shimmy shakes to his right.
Shimmy steps, yeah. 3rd down and about 12, so Hounds need to get some offense rolling here. 3rd down and long. They need to reach into that bag and pull out another one of those big plays.
Logan Loffer out here in single man-to-man coverage on the left. 2 receivers to the right. Snap to Evans. He drops back looking right. He goes deep. He's got a wide open receiver at the 43 to midfield, and he is corralled at the midfield stripe.
Clayton Dunning, when you need a big play, who do you call?
Clayton was wide open, got past the defense completely, and Evans found him wide open to midfield.
32 yards on that reception for Clayton Dunning. He had a 33-yard completion on a big play in the first half, so he's got about a 30-yard reception rate right now. So, when it comes time, look for number 8 out there.
Clayton Dunning was the first Independent Bank player of the game last week and is looking to do the same this week. Evans in the backfield with Neff. Takes the snap, drops back, looking left. Takes off up the middle, quarterback keeper, he's got room. Flag is thrown, he's at the 45-40. And out of bounds at about the 39.
Picked up about 12 yards if it stands, but there's a flag in the background, in the backfield.
Thrown from the defensive side of the ball, but it could have been a holding on the offense. We'll see.
Holding on Aurora.
That's exactly what it is.
So a 12-yard gain is erased.
Peyton Evans comes over to talk to Coach Kilgo and get a play as the officials look to spot the ball after that penalty. Ball was originally at the 50. It's going to be taken down to about the, he just keeps on moving, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's 10 yards from the foul, so that's going to put it back about the 34.
34, that's 16 yards penalty. That's a big penalty.
Yeah, that's 3 this half already.
2 defensive penalties, now a big offensive penalty. It's still first down, but it's first down in 3 counties. Evans in the backfield. Takes a snap. Here comes the pressure. He gets it off and incomplete as they brought their linebackers and blitzed Peyton. Peyton got rid of it, but he took a pretty good shot from 2 pretty big kids.
Now that's 2 defensive plays in a row that the Cubs have brought pressure from the middle and from the outside. Peyton was lucky to get that ball away and not take the sack.
So 2nd down and 25. From the 34-yard line for the Hound Dogs.
The play previous to that pressure was why Clayton Dunning was so wide open. The Hound offensive line picked it up and gave Peyton time to throw.
Yeah, the more men you send, the less there are. If you can pick them up. So 2nd down for the Hound Dogs. Peyton Evans shotgun snap, takes it, drops it back. More pressure. Going to throw down the left side to Logan Loffer, and there will be a flag for sure on that one.
Oh, it looked like laundry day at the Parker house. I saw so many things flying in the air.
Brian Parra Navarro tackled Logan Loffer before the ball got there, so that's going to give the Hound Dogs field position inside. Will he give it to him inside the 50? It'll be close.
It'll be close.
But it will be an automatic first down. They had the original line of scrimmage
was the 34.
34, and they started on the 50. So let's see how close they get to that 50-yard marker. Yeah, it's at looks like the 49. Is that not an automatic first down play?
Nope.
Why not?
So second
Let's
down.
change your roles here,
Second
Barry.
down and 11.
Second 11 is better than second and 26. That's for sure.
Much more manageable.
But not an automatic first down situation. As Evans in the shotgun's got 3 receivers on the near side here. Takes the snap. He's looking at those 3 receivers. He's going to take off one and running to the right. Lots of running room past the 45 to the 40.
First
Finally
down.
pushed out of bounds at about the 38-yard line for a first down. Well, you've got 3 receivers on the left, lots of defenders guarding those guys. Evans just takes off to the right.
Again, they shot the linebacker from that far side. The Hounds offensive line picked it up. Peyton saw the opening. He pulled the ball down and just took off in the space that had been vacated by that linebacker and picked up 13 yards and a first down.
They mark it on the 39-yard line at the Cubs. First and 10 for the Hound Dogs. Evans in the backfield. Takes the shotgun snap. Looking left. Going to fake it to the left and go up the middle. That was to Baker, but over his head. He looked out here to the left to Keaton Willard. He was defended.
He pump faked it to Willard out here in the flat, and he was hoping that was going to bring Baker back across the middle, and he was open. He had left 2 defenders kind of in his wake, but just couldn't get him the ball.
Crowd wanted him to go down the left sideline. Clayton Dunning was running man-to-man coverage towards the end zone. That would have been interesting.
Yeah, well, shoot, when you got a 31.5-yard average, I'd throw it to Clayton too.
Play clock just now being wound. 8:23 remaining here in the third quarter. Hound Dogs have a second down and 10. Evans looks left, has to flush out to his right. He's under pressure. He's going to be knocked down as the Cubs defense gets to Peyton Evans once again back around the 46-yard line.
The Cubs brought a linebacker again right up the middle, and they stopped him. The Hounds offensive line stopped him just for a few seconds. Well, then he broke loose, and by that time, apparently the play had broken down, and Peyton was kind of scrambling for his life. Well, by the time he kind of got his bearings, there were several Cubs around him and brought him down for a loss.
Casey Weatherman comes out. Keaton Willard is in for the Hound Dogs here on an all-important third down. 3rd and 17 now, though, for the Hound Dogs. Peyton Evans is at midfield. It's the shotgun. Takes the snap. Here comes pressure. He's looking to pass, but he's wrapped up again by the Cubs back at the 45. Just not a lot of time right now. The offensive line's got to give him a little bit more time to roll out and find that receiver.
Yeah, that time that defensive end defeated the block on the Aurora tackle and just beat him around the corner for another about a 7-yard loss.
So 4th and long for the Hounds. They line up in punt formation. Back deep for the Tigers. The Cubs is Anderson. He gets away from that punt from Evans. It's down to about the 24, maybe the 25. We'll see where they mark that. 1st and 10 for the Cubs. So 21-7 in favor of the Monett Cubs. Monett 3-1 on the season. The Hounds 1-3. And Evans comes off the field limping just a little bit there. I'm sure he's a little frustrated getting these sacks here in a row.
Yeah, I imagine that's more frustration than injury. He'll be ready to go here, though, before long.
So the Cubs offense back on the field. Michael Branch in the backfield. Ian Meyer under center. Meyer takes the snap, hands off to Branch. Branch just finished scoring a touchdown on the Hound Dogs here. He'll pick up a couple on first down.
Connor Savage again in there on the tackle, number 47. He only got about 1.5 yards.
An offensive line that is good size and very athletic. And then you've got a fullback as well. So Michael Branch, he's a big old boy. He's more of a tree than a branch.
Yeah, he's rooted all the way to the ground.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
That was good, Perry. 2nd down and 9. Meyer keeps it this time himself. He's caught in the backfield. Casey Weatherman comes around and makes the tackle. As they handed that one off to Mason Swearingen coming across. And he is tackled in the backfield for a loss back at the 18-yard line. He'll lose 6.
Loss of about 6. Casey Weatherman has played a great game from that outside linebacker. And Casey's not the biggest guy in the world, but he plays so very tough.
3rd down and 9 for the Cubs. Hound Dogs need to hold them here.
Those wide splits, think they're going to throw it?
That's what they show. No one in the backfield with Myers. He's in shotgun.
You could drive my truck through those splits.
That's amazing, isn't it? Myers puts the ball up. Incomplete as that one looks like he got hit as he was trying to throw it. Incomplete, so it's 4th down as the Hound Dogs force the Cubs 3 and out.
Did he try to bring the ball down and pump fake it, or did it just fall out of his hand?
I think he tried to pump fake it, and it was just slick enough that he couldn't hang on to it.
I bet it's still pretty wet out there, so that probably had a contributing factor to that.
So Keaton Willard for the Hound Dogs back deep, standing at his own 47-yard line. Here's the punt for the for the Cubs. It's an end-over kick, taking a Cub bounce down to about the 41-yard line, and that's where the Hound Dogs will have it 1st and 10.
Well, it's good to see the Hounds stop Monett. You know, had Monett been able to go down there and score, that would have put a complete different complexion on this ball game. But the Hounds defense stiffened, and Monett turned the ball over, and the Hounds take over on their own 41.
Big difference in a 2-score game and a 3-score game, isn't there?
Absolutely. Peyton Evans back out on the field. You know, we saw him kind of limping a little bit at the end of that last series, but he's back out there leading the Hound offense on this series as we begin right here from the 41-yard line.
Haven't seen J.D. Lee this evening.
Have not.
1st and 10. Hand off to Keaton Willard coming across. He slides down on the wet grass, but doesn't go all the way down. Able to pick up a couple there as he tried to make his move, and that field's probably a little slick, and he lost his footing.
Showed great balance, though. He put that hand down and kept his feet up off the, kept his feet, didn't put his rear end or his knee down, and he picked up 3 yards. So good balance shown by Keaton Willard.
Not a kid you'd want to run the 40 against.
No.
I don't know that there's a kid out there we'd want to run the 40 against.
Oh, I couldn't catch him in a Corvette, much less running.
2nd and 7 for the Hound Dogs, 4:37 remaining in the 3rd. Evans in shotgun. Backfield by himself. He's looking for a receiver. He's got
all
looking
kinds
for
of time.
Deep down the field he goes. That pass is incomplete and no flags flying. It looks like Clayton Dunning was the deep man. The ball hit him in a bad spot right at the numbers, but he was hit at the same time and he couldn't hang on.
Actually, I think the ball was a little underthrown. Clayton had the guy
He had to turn around.
He had to turn around and wait for it. If Peyton could have thrown it just a little bit more, Dunning might have gone to the end zone because he was a step or two behind the entire defense, and he had to wait for the ball to get to him.
So 3rd down.
Now that's something you see very often with Peyton Evans back there. Is the ball underthrown?
Short. Yeah. 3rd and 7. Neff in the backfield. He'll probably stay there and block as they're going to send people. Oh, they're running. And it looks like a defensive offsides here as they were sending a lot of pressure from the linebacking core.
Yeah, they were. They're trying to jump on that call by Peyton Evans. And, you know, he may have said, okay, boys, we're going to go on 2 this time instead of 1. Or, you know, he may have changed the inflection in his voice. And there was 2 guys from the linebacking core for the Monett Cubs in the Aurora backfield. So either way, it's an easy 5 yards for the Hound offense. So that takes to about 3rd down and about 1.5 yards right at the midfield stripe.
Big play here as the Hounds want to keep this drive alive, trailing 21-7 to 4:26 on the clock here in the 3rd. Evans takes the snap, hands off to Neff, and
big hole
straight up the middle, up to about the 45-yard line. Nice, best run of the night for Wyatt Neff so far.
Great block by the Aurora offensive center and the guard. Just made a huge hole there in the offensive line for Wyatt Neff. He squared up his shoulder pads, lowered his head, and he was 5 yards downfield before a Monett Cub touched him.
So 1st down for the Hound Dogs on the Monett Cub 45-yard line. Wyatt Neff to the right of Peyton Evans in the backfield. Peyton Evans takes the snap, drops back, looking for a receiver. He's got room to run. He takes off from the 45 to the 40, and he's hit there. Knocked down at about the 40, so another 5-yard gain. 5 yards at a time is plenty.
Yep, that will take it. every play, the Cubs are sending a linebacker from somewhere, and the Hound offensive line is having very good success in picking it up. That was one of those where Peyton saw the opening and just pulled the ball down and took off, and the nearest defender was probably 8 or 9 yards downfield.
They usually find the best success when Neff stays in the backfield and blocks for him. Not there this play on 2nd down and 5. Neff picking up that blitzer. Evans drops back. Here it comes again. And Evans going to take off running to the left this time. He's inside the 35 to the 30. Brought down at about the 30-yard line. Very close back there, Perry. I don't know if you saw almost a block in the back to get that linebacker out of the way, but Casey Weatherman did a good job of letting up on that.
Yeah, he could have given him a little nudge there very, very easily and gotten the penalty, but he pulled off, and Peyton Evans took out and got the ball all the way down to the 30-yard line.
So perhaps the best we've seen the Hound Dog offense this season.
How far did he get on that one?
He's at the 30, and he was at the I think it's at the 40, wasn't he? So 10 yards. Okay. Bad snap on 1st down here for Evans. As that snap gets over his head, and he has to land on it about the 45. I think 10 yards, Perry, was.
Okay.
But on this one, now they're back to the 45-yard line.
Just can't handle prosperity.
No, that's going to make a 2nd and 25. As he didn't even try really to pick that one up. He just knew to get on. That was probably a good move.
Well, the ball, I'm not trying to make excuses, but that, the ball may have been wet, may have slipped out of the center's hands, but that was a good 6 or 7 yards over Peyton Evans' head when the ball got to him. He didn't have a prayer of catching that.
He lines up in the backfield to take the quarterback snap. He's got it. He's looking for a receiver down the right side. He fires it deep. He's got his man.
Just off the fingertips.
Just missed that as he dove for it. That was
Mr. Dunning.
Probably Dunning. I was seeing if it was Dunning or Baker, but it is Dunning. As he laid out like Superman for that one.
Ever since Clayton's come back from his injury, he has just extended defenses play after play after play. And he makes it, he's one of those guys, last year you had to go back. Skylar Cahill could do the same thing. Just runs so effortlessly out there, and he gets behind the defense so quickly.
Yeah, he had double coverage on him there, and he ran past both of them.
Yeah.
So 3rd and 25 for the Hounds after the bad snap on 1st down. Evans goes to the right. He's got a receiver, but he overthrows him this time as that was about the 40-yard line. He wasn't going to be near getting the 1st down.
Intended for Caleb Baker, but a little overthrown. Had Caleb caught it, he still probably had 15 yards for a 1st down.
Be interesting here. I think we'll line up in punt formation, try to play a little field position game with them. 1:53 remaining in the 3rd. 21-7 our score in favor of the Cubs.
Peyton Evans stays in the game as a punter, lines up on the Hound side on the 40-yard line, waiting the snap. Good snap, kicks away.
Kick is up. Kick is down to about the 20, bounces to the 15. Close, see where they down that, closer to the 10-yard line now, as crowd wanted a roughing the punter on that as they knocked him over after the kick was away. It was kind of down at the shoes. I'm not sure that was a penalty warranted there.
I wish we had a replay board. I was watching the ball, seeing what was happening down there, so I didn't see what happened, I'm afraid.
Not any malcontent, in that play whatsoever. But
now the Monett player helped him up.
Yeah, well,
showed great sportsmanship.
Love for him to have called it. Don't get me wrong. 1st and 10.
Ball's on the ground.
See, nowhere to go with that one as it goes to the ground. 2nd down, they'll lose a couple of yards. 1:30 and counting here in the 3rd quarter. Kyle Todd coming in. White Ness comes out for 2nd down and 11.
Boy, if the Hounds could have found some way to recover that fumble down there deep in Monett territory, it could have had a profound effect on this ball game.
Michael Branch in the backfield. Ian Meyer under center. Takes the snap, hands to Branch. Branch up the middle. Finds a little bit of running room, but he's just short of the 1st down. up to about the 18.
He's finding success. Well, the offensive unit in whole for Monett is finding success right up the middle. They're loading that for Branch, and it's just power football right up the gut.
3rd and 2. Less than a minute remaining in the third. Ian Meyer, quarterback keeper up the middle, gets past the initial defenders and gets up to about the the 24. He'll pick up about 6 or 7 yards and enough for a first down.
Yeah, he got the first down, and again, they think they found something there in the middle of the Hound defense because they just keep going back to that well. You run a play till somebody stops it, and they've ran it with Branch now, and they run it with the quarterback 2 consecutive plays.
5-second difference in the play clock and the game clock for the Cubs on first down. Handoff to Michael Branch. Nowhere to go this time for Branch.
They were waiting for him this time.
He's down at the 25-yard line. He'll pick up a yard and a half on first down, and that will be the final play of the third quarter.
Casey Weatherman again and Blake Williams meeting him in the hole just for that short gain. So that will end the third quarter.
Well, after 3, only points scored in the third quarter. 1 touchdown early on by the Cubs. So it's Monett 21, Aurora 7. We'll be right back on the Talon Radio Network.
School's about to start. Back to school sales on markers, crowns, kid clothes, but what you want is to save money on a car. This month, save big during our back to school event only at Youngblood Nissan. Right now, lease the 2016 Rogue for $189 a month, the 2016 Pathfinder for $279 a month, or the 2016 Sentra for only $149 a month. To see more, visit our website, check us out on Facebook, or swing by and our friendly sales staff will be happy to show you around. Youngblood Nissan. We make it easy for you.
Honey, don't you think that bedroom's a little too hot and this kitchen's just a little bit too cold?
Cousin Bobby did the best he could when he installed the heating. Isn't that right, Cousin Bobby?
Yep. If you plan to have somebody like Bobby install your heating and cooling system, you might check with the professionals. With over 50 years experience, Central Sheet Metal in Aurora knows how to install a new carrier system in your home so every room is comfortable. Central Sheet Metal and Carrier. Professional installation, quality equipment.
And a short run, a couple of yards for the Cubs to bring up a third down and about 6.
Carlos Cordova stopping it up there in the middle for holding for a short 2-yard gain. So it's 3rd and about 6 for the Cubs.
Monett's yardage is there, but they haven't put up quite as many points as maybe they expected to even. 3rd and 6. Just starting the fourth quarter here in Aurora. Meyer hands off to Branch. Branch finds an opening at the 35, breaks free to the 40, 45. Defense chasing behind him to about the 47.
Malik Baker finally drug him down from behind, but that's just pure power on Michael Branch.
20-yard
getting up.
20-yard gain, and the defense was chasing from behind him, and that's, you get to the fourth quarter and a running back like Michael Branch, that's exactly what he looks forward to.
Yeah, that offensive line likes it too because that's just straight ahead blocking for them. You've got a big power back there. You can't dial it up for an offense better than that.
1st and 10 from the 46. Meyer under center. Branch went out on this play. Handoff Turner, I believe.
Yep.
He's into Monett Aurora territory, down to about the 46-yard line as he will pick up about 8.
Connor Savage again on the tackle. Those numbers are starting to pile up for him again this week.
Aaron Howard's a 5'9", 175-pound senior, and he gets a few carries here and there behind Michael Branch. That's quite a duo.
It is. You talk about thunder and lightning.
And Howard's in the backfield again. Meyer under center. Meyer and the quarterback keeper looking to get the first down. He'll be close. He's pushed. Good effort by Meyer.
Yeah, sheer determination he got across the the line of scrimmage for the first down. Malik Baker was trying to hang on for dear life, but he just got enough for the first down, so Monett keeps the drive alive.
1st and 10 from the Aurora 43, as they are content to run the ball and run the clock.
Yeah, they're doing exactly what they want. Just ball control forever. Just let that clock run. Keeping out of Aurora's offense.
Meyer under center. Branch back in the game now. Fakes it to Branch. Meyer keeps it. Looks like a busted play as he gets down to about the 40.
I think quarterback was looking to hand it off to Branch, and Branch was just kind of standing there.
Yeah,
like,
he did.
I don't want it.
I don't want this one. So
I think this was yours. Still picked up a 3 for the quarterback, so second down and about 7 on about the 41-yard line for the Cubs.
Monett definitely has a number of options, a number of ways to go. They have the ability to score from a number of options, and that's what you want in high school football. Meyer hands off to the receiver coming around the left side, but Connor Savage is not surprised.
No, they were waiting almost like they knew that was coming. Quarterback dropped back, and the receiver was coming around on the sweep, and the Hounds were standing there waiting for him. Loss of about 3 yards, so great play by the Hound defense.
3rd and long, and Monett calls a timeout. 9:02 remaining here in the 4th quarter, and they will burn their first timeout. (21-7) in favor of the Cubs.
This time last week we had almost 1 quarter in the book.
Oh, don't remind me.
And I said the L word earlier,
yeah.
and I should be banned from something.
That
I said thunder, and it's like as soon as I said it, it's like, oh no.
That night took all week to get over. Reminds me that we should tell people that there is not a post-game pizza party at your pizza place tonight due to homecoming festivities, as the high schoolers all have activities. They were going to the drive-in this evening. I think that may have got changed to something else indoors, but now they could almost do that again, couldn't they?
Yeah, and I was looking forward to it.
Yeah, so I was too, for supper purposes. So 3rd and long. Handoff for the Cubs, and he is met immediately.
Wyatt Neff shot through there and got to the ball, and Michael Branch about the same time. So a nice play, shooting that linebacker in there on a blitz by the Aurora defense. Great call by Kanan Rook. 4th down and 10.
4th and long. Blake Williams checks back in. Peyton Evans is out. The Cubs line up in a punt formation. I would pay attention here to the fake.
I would keep my eye on the ball.
Yeah, I'm calling a fake, Perry, right here.
I think they're going to want to play field position and push the Hounds as deep as they can.
Let's see who's right.
Okay.
Let's just see. Here's the punt. You are correct again.
You're going to believe me one of these
Foiled again as the ball is kicked into the end zone. I'd have had you and your little puppy too.
Yep. Fortunately, it took a Monett kick, and it rolled into the end zone. That could have died inside the 10 very easily.
It was a good Aurora bounce into the end zone as Logan Lawford let that one go on by him. So 1st and 10 for the Hound Dogs from the 20. They really need to get on the board as there's just 8 minutes and 13 seconds remaining, 21-7 in favor of the Cubs.
As long you can score as long as there's time on the clock, but
now that
is dilly-dally. You don't want to dilly-dally around here.
Are you writing these down?
Yeah, I've got a whole
That's
collection.
three different flavors we've got to come up with. Evans takes the snap. He's looking to his left. Now he's going to roll right, gets past the defender, trying to find some running room before he runs out of bounds. Not a lot of room there. He'll pick up a yard, maybe 2. Well, we're going to say 1 before he runs out of real estate. 2nd down and 9.
Peyton will sleep well tonight. He's covered a lot of ground and hasn't made very much progress.
The short side of the field was where he had to run, as the 3 receivers were on the left side of the field. He just ran out of room before he ran into his own sideline. So 2nd down and 9 from the 21-yard line. Evans drops back. Here comes that linebacker, and he's got him.
Yeah, they're just blowing up that right side out where they're the left side, and they may need to keep Neff in that backfield as an extra blocker.
Tyler Alcott gets to him this time to make it a 3rd and long, about 3rd and 16 for the Hound Dogs, deep in their own territory.
Oh, I'm sorry, loss of about 8 on that quarterback sack.
That's not going to help them move the football when they're going backwards. 3rd and long. Evans takes the snap from the shotgun. He's got Wyatt Neff back there with him. He's looking for a receiver. Takes off running up the middle. He gets back to about the 16-yard line. There were no receivers getting open for him, so he chose to pull it down and take off. But not a lot of running room here in the 4th quarter.
He got about a yard. It's about 4th and 14. The Hounds drop back into punt formation.
Peyton Evans back deep to punt. We have flags flying here before the punt. Let's see what we got. I hear somebody say there's 13 guys out there, but I don't know which side yet. Let's see. Monett has a player running off the field.
Illegal participation.
There you go. Too many Cubs as they try to put 13 on the field against us.
Always trying to do something. Always trying to do something.
Those Cubs. So Evans back to punt now, 4th and 9. Here's the snap. Evans puts it up a very short punt, hits it about the 31-yard line and rolls to the 33-yard line. So not good. That's a 12-yard net punt for the Hounds and gives the Cubs really good field position, 1st and 10 from the 33.
That reminded me of our golf game, Roger.
Hey.
No, that's
rude.
That was a shank.
That's rude.
I hate being rude, but that's what it was. You got to call it what it is. That was a shank.
I'm not talking to you anymore. 1st and 10 for Ian Meyer in the shotgun. He's got Michael Branch behind him.
4 guys over on the Monett side waving in plays.
You notice Michael Branch's jersey dirtier than the rest as Meyer looks to pass here on 1st down as he puts it up. He's got his receiver. That is Alex Turner down the right side. He's dragging the pile down inside the 20-yard line. About 15. Alex Turner, 6'4", 280-pound tight end.
He's another one of those large young men we've been talking about.
Does he look that tall to you? I haven't seen him.
He doesn't look 6'4", but he's got some.
He's a big old kid.
Yeah. Somebody's down on the far side.
I don't remember him in basketball. Does he play basketball? He does.
He does. Well, I'm sure we'll see him again.
So that's a good-sized young man.
We've got a Hound down about on the far sideline.
He's not down. He's standing there by the. I think he wants to keep the yard marker.
Jogging off here.
Is that 4 or 1?
I think it's 1.
Maybe Keaton Willard. And he got up on his own before the trainers got there.
Keaton missed a lot of time last year with a broken leg, so he's one of these kids that there's quickness and there's speed. Quickness is the first 5 yards, and speed comes after that. Well, Keaton's got both, so he's one of those burners we really need on the field.
Yeah, I want to set up this 40-yard sprint between you and Keaton Willard.
Oh, come on. It would.
I want to see if you can get 20 yards before he's finished. What was that? I missed that play. I was looking down before the snap, but
there was a little bit of motion on the penalty. Aurora defensive line decided they wanted to introduce themselves to the offensive guard. Well, they kind of gave him, shall we say, a gentle nudge backward.
He did a nice backflip, back roll.
But I'm sure the Aurora defender didn't do it on purpose.
No, he was not intending to hurt him by any means. 21-7.
First down and 5.
Left in this one. Monett will take their time, use as much clock as possible.
They're in no hurry.
Ball on the 10-yard line. 1st and 5. Ian Meyer throws down the middle. No receiver there. Incomplete.
That come down back there about halfway to the long jump pit. He just reared back and put the mustard on that one, and he just smoked it, but there was not a receiver in the vicinity.
So 2nd and 5 from the 10. The handoff to Branch. He stumbles and gets tripped up at about the 10-yard line, it looks like, and that's where they were started from. So it'll be a 3rd and 5 from the 10.
Didn't get any gain. Kyle Todd shot through there and tripped him up for no gain. Third and 5 for the Cubs. Look over and get their play from the sideline.
All you have to do is figure out which one of those 4 guys in purple is actually given the play.
That's true. The other guy, he's working on the shimmy, shimmy, shake.
Meyer looking to pass to the left, throws it up in the air. It's going to be a tip and catch game and incomplete.
Knocked away by Caleb Baker. Nice defensive play in the corner of the end zone.
Hounds tried that late in the first half on the other end of the field to Caleb Baker, and this time Caleb gets to be the one pushing the ball away. So
you asked if that young man played basketball. That was just a jump ball right there, and Caleb Baker was able to knock the pass down. The Cubs are lining up for a field goal here.
4th down, they'll bring in. They have one of the better field goal kickers, Cameron Cody.
But he missed an extra point earlier.
Yeah, he is a pretty good kicker. He broke his leg last year as well.
Yeah, it was a very bad break.
So Cody's kick is up, and it is no good. So the extra point is wide left. Not extra point, the field goal is wide left. We don't see those very often in high school football anymore. So 21-7 remains our score. Biggest enemy right now for the Hound Dogs is the clock. 5:12 remains here in the 4th quarter.
Hounds need to get their offense moving. Hounds will take over on the 20 after the missed field goal, but you know they can't afford to take any losses or have penalties. We need to get the ball down the field.
The game is brought to you in part by Sports World, 709 Main on the Square in Cassville. Embroidery on shirts, caps, jackets, sports uniforms, and more. Give them a call, 417-847-5366. So 1st and 10 from the 20 for the Hound Dogs. Peyton Evans takes the snap, drops back. He's looking to his right. He's got Keaton Willard over here on the near side, but he can't corral it. 2nd down. I'm still interested in a nice deep pass for Logan Lawford to run underneath. He's got Brian Parra Navarro who can run with him, but I'd like to see if Logan can get behind him.
Logan was running a streak right down on the sideline. He had a little space. Clayton Dunning was open on the far sideline. I just don't think Peyton Evans had enough time to see him and get the ball out to him.
Evans takes the shotgun, looks to his right. He's got a receiver out here near us. That is Clayton Dunning. And catch is made at about the 28-yard line. 3rd and 2. I'm going to mark it in between the 27 and 28. So 3rd and a short 3 or a long 2, Perry, whichever you prefer.
I don't know what's wrong with Clayton Dunning. That was only 8 yards.
Yeah, exactly. 3rd and down for the Hound Dogs. Peyton Evans takes the snap, looking to run it up the middle. He's past the 30, 35. Nice move outside to the 40, and finally knocked out of bounds at about the 44. Coach Kilgo, I have to agree, he's having a little conversation as he's knocked 4 or 5 yards. It's the last hit that was made on him.
Yeah, it was a little late out of bounds.
No call made. 1st and 10 for the Hound Dogs from the 44. 4:26 on the clock.
Evans got 17 yards. He had a nice stiff arm on one of the Cub defenders, which opened up a hole for him and picked up 17 yards on that carry.
Need to score here quickly, really. 3 timeouts remaining, but you need 2 scores to tie this thing up.
Yeah, we've got to keep moving. Coming on a blitz, they picked it up.
Evans looks to take off running again. Nowhere to go this time. He's down at the 45. He'll pick up a yard.
Yep. maybe delayed a little bit on making that hesitation to pull the ball down and run, and he ran right into the defense.
Logan Loffer continues to run on the single side. Caleb Baker and Clayton Dunning on the other side. Now Peyton Evans comes out and J.D. Lee steps in.
Production does not drop off here for the Hounds. J.D. Lee is a fine quarterback.
So 2nd down and 9 for the Hound Dogs.
Fresh pair of legs and a shotgun arm.
J.D. pass to the flat, incomplete, intended for Keaton Willard.
Just one of those deals they've kind of got to get in sync, you know. When J.D. throws the ball, you know, it's a little different than what they're used to with Peyton. But, you know, Hounds have got to make that catch. So it's 3rd down and about 9. That clock's running. Hounds have got it on the 45-yard line.
3:43 is all that's left. Now on the right side, you've got Clayton Dunning and Caleb Baker. Out left, Keaton Willard and Logan Loffer. Back drops Lees, looking to his right. That one is batted down by Alex Turner. We talked about that 6'4".
He did exactly what you're supposed to as a defensive lineman. If you can't get to the quarterback, put those big hands and arms up in the air and see if you can knock the ball down. And that's exactly what happened. They went back to throw, and as the pass came through, he just knocked it down. So
here comes Peyton Evans and J.D. Lee.
Something we've been waiting to see for a while. We've seen it a time or two in past games. The first time we've seen it tonight, both of them on the field at the same time.
Evans will line up to
as
the
left
back as a slot receiver, it looks like. J.D. Lee at center, and timeout is called by Aurora.
That surprised me. You know, you had time there to get those guys in there. I thought Monett might have called the defense a defensive timeout because you had J.D. Lee and Peyton Manning both on the field at the same time.
Peyton Manning? See, I did it too last week.
Peyton Evans. Well, he kind of throws it. No, he doesn't.
No.
Just a slip on my part.
I know. I did it last week.
I haven't called anybody Mountain Grove tonight, so that's a step up.
Yeah, as long as we stay away from calling them other Big 8 teams is when we're pretty good. We know Monett. We know those colors.
Yeah. So just ask your wife and my wife.
Exactly. That's why we know them so well. 4th and long, 3:40 remaining in this one. Reminder, Talking Dogs tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. here on KSWM AM 940. No post-game pizza party tonight because of homecoming. While we have a second, want to congratulate Jeff Bodine and Emily Parker as the homecoming king and queen.
Those festivities were held a little earlier due to the weather. They were inside the gym.
It's odd not to get to see that, isn't it?
It is.
We're used to always seeing that. So here we go, 4th down and 9 for the Hound Dog. Here comes that linebacker. He's coming untouched. J.D. gets away from him, trying to find an avenue to pass. He throws it up deep. That is caught at about the 35, 36-yard line. Nice catch.
Caught, but out of bounds.
Oh.
Clayton Dunning went up in a crowd. It was kind of looked almost like a Hail Mary. Just J.D. Lee ran back and threw it. Dunning went up and got it and came down with it, but he was out of bounds.
Yes, he had a foot out of bounds. It's way over into the sideline. He went up way higher than the defender, and good job. Good job by J.D. Lee of getting open to pass that thing. That linebacker came again on that right side untouched.
Yeah, J.D. showed great awareness to get away from him and still have time to get the ball off. Ball's on the 44-yard line for the Hound Dogs. Monett takes over.
1st and 10, Meyer under center, hands to Michael Branch. He breaks off the left side, and he is knocked out of bounds at about the 37. He kind of straight grabbed the defender and threw him out of bounds. In the process, he's a big old boy.
Yeah, Connor Savage tried to catch him from behind, and just Branch was just too strong. He had too much momentum.
2nd down and about 3.5 for the Cubs. This is where Michael Branch comes in. So important for the Cubs. 3:22 remaining, as he can eat the clock up here pretty easily. Hand off to him straight up the middle, and he's got an opening. He's past the 30, 25, 20, and he will
They
not
won't
be
touch
caught.
him. They won't touch him.
And no flags on the play. He'll score another touchdown up the middle. 37 yards for the score.
That's the same play he scored on earlier. They blocked it right up the middle. He didn't even have to make a false step. He just took off, and nobody touched him right up the gut.
Cody lining up for the extra point for the Cubs. The extra point kick is up, and it is a low kick, but it is good.
That one made it through.
So 28-7 in favor of the Cubs as they're able to use the strength of Michael Branch to get on the board once again.
You know, they're Monett, you have to tip your hat to them. You know, they're just using that size to their advantage here in the fourth quarter. You know, they're just wearing the Hounds down. But when you've got a weapon like Branch that size, and they're looking just pound and pound and pound. And Monett's got some good size up front on that offensive line, and it's just taking its toll. You know, we've talked about it before, you know, it's a battle of attrition, and it's that size is showing itself here late in the fourth quarter.
When we conclude here, Coach Cale Kilgo will join us for some post-game comments here in the press box tonight. Hound Dogs line up for the kickoff. Cody has the ball set up at the 40-yard line. Logan Laufer is flanked on each side by Caleb Baker and Clayton Dunning. And here's the kickoff. Logan Laufer takes it at about the 4. He's got some blockers up the middle, up to the 20-25, and he goes down near the 25. Looks like about the 23 is where they will give the Hound Dogs 1st and 10 with 3:09 remaining.
One thing I like to watch Logan run, he's no fear. He just, a lot of guys will get the ball and they'll kind of, where do I want to go, what direction on. He just takes the ball and takes off and runs. That's exactly what you want on your punt and your kick return.
You know, Logan has been around this program for a long time. He was a water boy back as a child for this team, and he's been around the sidelines for a long time. So 1st and 10. Evans drops. That's J.D. Lee drops, and he throws the pass incomplete, intended for, I'm trying to see who that is. Is that Dunning?
I can't tell you. I'll tell you in a moment. Yep. Sure was.
Off of Dunning's hands there as he crossed across the middle on a slant. 2nd down. 28-7 in favor of the Cubs. Monett looking to improve to 4-1 on the season and 2-1 in the Big 8 Conference. J.D. Lee takes the snap. Quick pass out to the right to Caleb Baker. Nowhere to go as he's down at the 20-yard line. They try to come out to that slant. There's not a lot of success in that play anytime, in my opinion, much less in the last 3 minutes of the game.
No, that cost us about 3 yards.
It's a safe play for the Hound Dogs, but trailing by 3 scores is not the time for safety.
Yeah, you need to get the ball down the field. Under 3 minutes left here at Kelly Field. 3rd down and 13 for the Hounds.
J.D. Lee takes the snap, drops back, looking left. He's going to put the ball up. He's got a receiver coming back to the ball, but it does hit the ground. Looks like
Clayton Dunning again, just a little short hopped it. But he threw it in the position where if anybody was going to catch it, it was only going to be Dunning. There was going to be no chance of an interception with that pass. So here it is, 4th down, 14. Hounds are lining up there going, no, I'll take that back. They're in punt formation from the 20.
Left-footed kick for the Hound Dogs back to the 40, bounces to the 46, and that's where the Cubs will have it with 2 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in this one. And the Cubs will look to run the clock here and end this one with a victory.
Yeah, they're just going to do everything they can. All they want to do is see that clock move. First and 10 Cubs on the Aurora 46. Curious to see, how the Hound defense handles this right here.
28-7. You like to see it stay there.
Yeah.
2:09 on the clock. Branch in the backfield. Meyer, they're still the first team offense in the game. The handoff to the receiver around the left side. There is a flag flown as Kyle Todd makes the tackle.
Nice tackle by Kyle Todd on the pursuit on the outside. But we're going to wait to see what the penalty is. A holding on Monett.
C.J. Job was the receiver that came around. Have not found a lot of success with that play. As you said, they've had a lot more success straight up the middle tonight.
Yeah, Aurora's been very, very good at stringing out the sweeps around the outside of the ends. Monett's, like you hit it exactly on the head. The biggest portion of their success running the ball has been in between the tackles.
Are you telling me I said something correctly?
Yes, I am.
Wow.
Mark it down.
Mark it down, folks.
Mark it down.
Mark
You
it
heard
down.
it here. The clock is wound. And
Talking dogs never agree. Ian Meyer hands off again to the receiver coming around the right side this time. He's into Aurora territory to about the 49. That was Mason Swearingen.
He got about
this
6
time.
on that.
So he gets 6 of it back, but he's still about 14 yards from the first down marker.
And the clock continues to run.
Yep, that's what they want. 132 in this one. Saw some things I like tonight, Perry, I have to say.
I have.
It's not the score we want, but I have seen some things that were very positive from what we've seen in the weeks past.
Yeah, not the outcome that we wanted, but a lot of positives out there for the Hounds tonight.
Meyer takes the snap, hands off once again to the receiver coming across to the left side this time. That this time is Darian McCracken.
Connor Savage again on the tackle. I don't know how many tackles he's had tonight, but he's had another big night.
4th and 7 for the Cubs. 49 seconds on the clock as it is running down. Monett will improve to 4-1 and 2-1.
Victory formation for the Cubs here.
2-1 in the Big 8. The Hound Dogs will drop to 1-4 and 1-2 in the Big 8. Next week, the Hound Dogs travel to Seneca.
Face the Indians.
This is where they get to an interesting string of games with Seneca and Cassville and Mount Vernon coming up next. And McDonald County.
Yep.
So a 1-4 team can very quickly turn to a 5-5 team.
Absolutely.
And it's just the way it is, the way the schedule is here. And that's the last play of the game. Both teams shaking hands, and we'll line up now at midfield. Final score here at Kelly Field, Monett 28, Aurora 7. We'll take a break. We'll be right back on the Talon Radio Network.